3 of 4 against the defending World Series champions this weekend as the Crew fell yesterday 16-4. The Brewers now hit the road for 7 games starting today in Philadelphia. And finally, powered by 49 points from Giannis Antetokounmpo yesterday, saw the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Brooklyn Nets 117-114. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Oh, what a weekend it was. My goodness. My goodness, what a weekend it was. Welcome to the Bill Michaels Show. Holy mackerel, where do you begin? Seriously, I mean, where do you begin? It just an incredible weekend of just drama and sports and just stuff, for lack of a better term. Just, the Aaron Rodgers saga continues to spin on. We all know that. There's one big burning question now. One big burning question now. I'll tell you what it is coming up here shortly as we get into this thing. One big burning question now that I think has to be addressed. Has to be addressed. Do you know what that is? Take a guess. See if you're right. We'll touch base here in a minute. One big burning question. Number 2, Brewers get a win. Nice job by the Milwaukee Brewers over the weekend, man. Seriously. That's good stuff. Brewers do their thing, and Brewers are still on top, as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, the Brewers are tied with the Giants and the Dodgers for the most wins in the National League. They're tied with the Giants for the best record at 17-11. 17-11, and they are tied for the best record in Major League Baseball. And the Red Sox both have 17 wins, but they also have 12 losses. So the Brewers, who knew? Who would have thunk it that this is where they... Who cares if they got drilled yesterday? Doesn't matter. Once something like that goes awry, it is what it is. You know? It is what it is. 877-867-1670. Welcome to the program on this Monday. I am Bill Michaels. Plenty of ways to get a hold of the program today. We're going to talk with Rob Reichel of Forbes.com, also covers the Green Bay Packers. And all the rumors, the innuendos, the story that has shifted. Now, I'm going to explain some of the Aaron Rodgers stuff to you because some things have transpired since, obviously, draft day and the last time you and I talked. So I want to kind of give you the lowdown, okay? But now, all of a sudden, I shouldn't say all of a sudden because they've been kind of like a shark lurking behind the scenes the entire time, but the Denver Broncos, rumor has it, has come into play. And we're going to talk with Eric Goodman from Mile High Sports about all of this. We're going to talk about this coming up here in a little while as well. He is going to join us about 2 hours from right now out in the Mile High City to talk about the Broncos side of things. But if you want to get a hold of us and join the program, it is 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You can find us over on Twitter at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. Over on the Facebook fan page, that is Facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show, Facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. And if you want to hit us up on YouTube and on Twitch, either way, you want to subscribe, it's absolutely free of charge. Go and subscribe and get the program via video and the live stream on the Bud Light live stream. And you can find us on YouTube and on Twitch. Just simply look for Bill Michaels. And while I've got your attention, here we go. Since we started the new network, I've been promising you we've got something coming up where we're all going to get together, or at least we're going to get a shot at all of us getting together. Here it is. Here's your attention getter. We all love sports in this state. We all love tailgating in this state, right? Are you nodding your head with me? Of course we do. Okay. Here's something else we love in this state. Free. right? Oh, now I really got your attention. Okay. There is no better place in this world to go and enjoy and kind of kick back and take it easy than the middle of the state and the hidden gem that is called Road America. Okay. We can't go right now and take big groups into American Family Field. So that's out, right? So we can't go to Lambeau. That's out. Can't go to Camp Randall. That's out. Where are we going to go right now for something that we can do right here, right now? You know what I mean? So IndyCar is coming to Road America, and I want to bring you with me. This is our first big event. So listen up. The NTT IndyCar Series Rev Group Grand Prix, it's presented by AMR. It takes to the legendary Road America track. It's going to be June 17th through the 20th. And I'm going. We're going to do our show there. I want you there. Okay? Go to BillMichaels.com right now, and you can register to win. That is BillMichaels.com. You can register to win. This is what you're going to win if you do win. And we're going to open this up. We want a winner from each one of our markets. Okay, from each one of our affiliates. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to set you up with tickets, camping, a campsite, a tailgate party. We're going to take care of the tailgate party. We're going to supply the food. We're going to do some brats. We're going to do some burgers, whatever it is that our friends from Quick Trip are going to supply to us. And I'm going to bring you, okay, my buddy Paul Roberts out here in Waukesha from Roberts Specialty Meats. I was talking to him. I said, Paul, I need some ribs on a stick. I need if we're going to do our first tailgate party and do it right. Quick Trip's giving us everything, and I went to Paul and I said, I need some ribs on a stick. Paul's like, you got it. So we're doing ribs on a stick. We're going to bring beverages from our friends at Budweiser. Bud Light's going to be on hand, and some other craft beers. How about that? Okay, and then I'm also going to give you tickets to the race. Right after we get done catching up via the tailgate. It's going to be awesome. The NTT IndyCar Series Rev Group Grand Prix presented by AMR June 17th through the 20th at Road America. You can get to the complete event details for your chance to win right now. Go to BillMichaels.com. That's BillMichaels.com. BillMichaels.com. Tickets, camping, tailgating, all with me. It's going to be like me and 30 of my closest friends. So you've all got a shot at this. While I've got your attention, go to BillMichaels.com. That's BillMichaels.com, MICHAELS, BillMichaels.com. Get all the details, get signed up, get registered, as this is going to be our first network event, you and I together, hanging out, beautiful setting. If you've never been to Road America, oh my God, beautiful setting. Camping out, tailgating, free food, free beverages. It doesn't get much better than that. I'll tell you that right now. Go to BillMichaels.com. So the Packers have their draft in the books. And the question that I asked earlier today via Twitter, do you feel better about the Packers? Do you feel better about the Packers? They picked up Eric Stokes, the cornerback. We all knew that last time you and I talked. Then in the second round, they got Josh Myers, the center from Ohio State, and Corey Linsley was also a center from Ohio State. They tend to produce some pretty good offensive alignment, specifically interior alignment. I like that pick. I know it's not popular, but I like that pick. That means that if he comes in and can take over the starting duties almost immediately, that means that you can kind of keep your line intact and not have to shuffle so many people around. Then they trade up, and they get the wide receiver, Amari Rodgers, out of Clemson. Like that move as well. I'm going to go through all of these picks and give you the RLAD scouting guide on these guys. So we'll go through this. Royce Newman, the guard, some more beef up front. The guard out of Ole Miss, the defensive tackle. Now, they call him a defensive tackle, but he's actually a nose tackle. He's a nose guard. Tadarius Slayton, I should say, from Florida. I like this. I read a lot about him. I didn't know a lot about him, I'll be honest with you. I like this pick. The cornerback, Shamar Jean Charles, out of Appalachian State. I don't know, other than what I've read, I don't know anything about him. Obviously, Cole Van Lannon. Oh, my God, what a good pick. We know what offensive tackles can do when Mark Tauscher came in. Hopefully he can be Tauscher-esque he's got a lot to live up to being an offensive lineman from Wisconsin, but I like it. Isaiah McDuffie, the inside linebacker. Really, he's considered more of an outside linebacker, but he can play both. He's a speedy guy coming out of Boston College. And then the Hill kid out of Mississippi State, the running back. And we knew that they might get a running back because they had to get some depth. But do you feel better about your Green Bay Packers in the here and the now? 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Do you feel better in the here and the now regarding your Green Bay Packers? What are your thoughts? Also, speaking of the Packers, did you see Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers was at the Kentucky Derby. Aaron Rodgers was also wearing a name tag. Did you see the name tag? I posted it over on the Facebook fan page. But if you look at it and enlarge it, Aaron Rodgers wearing the name tag of Turd Ferguson. Did you see that? I don't know if he's just joking around, if there's some symbolism to it, or if he's just having fun with his guys. I don't know. I don't know. But Turd Ferguson. A buddy of mine is one of the directors of Churchill Downs. And he's the guy that kind of shows all the celebrities to their suites and such. And he got a picture with Aaron and sent it to me almost immediately. I mean, on Saturday morning, once everybody started arriving, he said, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And I posted it. Turd Ferguson. There you go. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up? Feel free to go ahead and do so. 877-867-1670. Aaron Rodgers, Turd Ferguson. How are we looking right there? Do you feel better about your Green Bay Packers? Carl says, yes, of course. I think they're better now. A-Rod will calm down and he'll play just fine. James says, I think it's a good draft for the Packers. Jim says the $40 million question, whether or not 12 will really sit out for the whole season and leave all that money on the table. He is the one dude that might actually do that. Again, he's made $270 million. You know, I mean, if you're in your rookie deal, no, you're not leaving that kind of money on the table. But you're $270 million in, or $240 million in, however much money he's made, he doesn't need anything else. Okay, let's just say he decides to sit out and says, you know what, screw you, I'll go do Jeopardy. He can do Jeopardy for now. I will say this: the reaction to Aaron Rodgers on Jeopardy, while the ratings were good, there are some that say, yeah, he would not be good every day as that. Everybody was waiting for something else to drop. There was an anticipatory moment in which you thought there might be something like this, where I don't want to return to Green Bay, or what happened in that last NFC Championship game, or are you mad at Matt LaFleur or Brian Gutekunst? They were looking for the drama. But if he decides to stay out and just say, you know what, I don't need this anymore, chances are he can make $3, $5, $7, $10 million a year hosting Jeopardy, and he's still going to get a lot of money. You know? 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Andrew says, I thought a lot about the Rodgers situation, concluded that it's all his fiance's fault. How do we know that? How do we know that? Kim, you are 110% correct. 110% correct. That is the question. That is the $1 billion question. And if you're not looking at us on the Facebook on live stream, or over on YouTube, or on Twitch, or on Twitter, that is the $1 million question. I will address that because you are 100% correct. I will address that when we come back. Stay tuned. The Bill Michaels Show continues right after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. In 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program. Hey, a reminder, we are brought to you by our good friends over there at Schulze Family Farms Beef. I did some tailgating over the weekend, my own tailgating. As a matter of fact, I did it a little bit here yesterday, and it was great. Opened up the tiki bar a little bit. Didn't open it up fully. I don't have the top in yet. If you're watching on the Bud Light live stream, there it is. The covering is off of it. I got some cleaning up to do, but I got the covering off. The television's back in, and they're going to be doing some tailgating out there. Going to be doing some grilling out there. A lot of good stuff, but the decor is not out as of yet. But anyway, long story short, it is getting it open, and I'm going to start doing some tailgating. Going to start doing some tailgating from our friends at Schulze Family Farms Beef. Kick off the tailgate season at the ballpark or in your backyard. All of our bratwursts are available. 4 flavors: beef, blue cheese, pork, beer brats, all of it. They have preformed beef patties, hamburgers, good stuff. The skinless wieners. Skinless wieners. For the kids. There you go. Skinless wieners. I didn't even know they made such a thing, but they do. They have jerky. They have all kinds of grilling stuff. They have steaks, chops, roasts, brisket, ribs, tomahawk ribeyes for smoking as well. You can smoke it with that Fox Smokehouse barbecue sauce. Oh, so good. So good. Salty provision seasonings available as well. And being a family farm, they really do have that special touch. They want you to stop by the farm. I tell you that all the time. Stop by Humbird, Wisconsin. Humbird, Wisconsin. Right there in the Black River Falls area. Yeah, right there. That's good stuff. Stop in, whether it's a car, SUV, motorcycle, ATV. The ATV trails are open. They want you to come on in and hang out for a little bit. Take a look around the farm store. Or if you're wherever you're at, if you're sitting at home and you want to get in on this, and maybe you haven't ever tried anything like this before, they simply want you to go to SchulzeFamilyBeef.com. That's Schulze, SCHOLZE, SchulzeFamilyBeef.com. And you can try ordering, and you can order kind of a selection box or whatever, or you can put, if you want a subscription, you can do that, but you can try it out. You can try it out and order today. In just a couple of days, it'll be right there on your doorstep. It'll be ready for the weekend. We'll do some grilling out this weekend. You're all good to go. Scholze, SCHOLZE, ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. That's ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. Hit us up, and you can place your order, all that kind of good stuff. From their family farm to your family's table. It's our friends over there at ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. That's ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. Okay, back to Kim's statement. And it's the $1 million question. You are 110% correct. For everything that is going on right now, Kim says, why doesn't Rodgers go on national TV and just clear the air, whether he said something about all of this or not? Does he like the drama? I tend to support him, but his shtick is getting old. Look, it's time. It's time for something to be said. I agree. We've heard from Matt LaFleur. We have heard from Brian Gutekunst. We have heard from Mark Murphy, the three parties involved. If Aaron just flat out does not want to come back, say it. Just say, look, explain what's going on. Just explain what's going on. Just say, look, I'm not a fan of Brian Gutekunst. I think what they did was wrong. Or you can say, look, Brian and I are good. The problem I have with all of this is the fact that they didn't communicate with me. I gave everything I had. They doubted me. It pissed me off. That's it. Just go out and tell it like it is and just say, look, I think my time has come to an end in Green Bay. I think I'm going to go elsewhere. It's not like we're sitting here going, oh my God, that's so unlike Aaron. Come on. This is a guy that uses every slight as motivation. He uses every slight as motivation. We understand that. That's why you're glad that he gets mad at certain things, right? Because it fuels the fire. So we get it. But just come out and say, this is what's going on. I mean, he keeps talking about the fans. If you care so much about the fan, this is why it makes me so angry when organizations go, well, we've got to give it up for our fan base. But yet, the fan base really doesn't matter. They really don't. You and I really don't. Do you think we do? He said it. I love the fans. I love what they do. I love how they represent. I love all that. Okay. Do you really? Because if you really love the fans, wouldn't you just address the fans and say, hey, look, no matter what happens, I love you guys. I love you guys and girls for supporting me for all this time, through everything. I understand what it was like when Brett was gone. I appreciate all the support you've given me. It's not that I want to leave you as a fan base. I just feel like I've been treated wrong by an organization that doubted me. Is there anything good that he can say? Without sounding kind of like, oh, my feelings are hurt, I'm going to walk away. And then if there's something, I'm not saying you got to air all the dirty laundry, but wouldn't you say, hey, can we just understand that I just think I should be playing elsewhere? You can do that too. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Marcus said, I think it's simple. He wants the public to still see him as a nice guy so the Packers can be the bad guy. It saves him face. Yeah, but he could come out and throw him under the bus without being a bad guy. He can say, look, they doubted me. They didn't really have much regard for me. Do you think that we would all of a sudden just sit back and go, oh boy, Aaron, you're such a pansy? No, we would probably look at this and go, man, he just blew him up. He just blew him up. I think there are two pieces to this, and people keep saying Aaron's going to sit out. No, he's not. Because if Aaron, you'll know in the beginning of June. June is the mandatory OTAs. You'll know in the beginning of June if Aaron Rodgers plans on calling it a career or not in Green Bay. That's when you'll know. So we're about 4 weeks away from really finding out, unless something else breaks between now and then. because that's when if he's going to sit out, he's going to do it. And that's when he starts to forfeit bonuses and all that kind of stuff. Look, for those of you that say he's not going to sit out because of the money, yeah, he will. He doesn't need it. Because people say, well, he doesn't have the power. Yeah, he does. The Packers are not, because here's the thing. You have got to still hold that money aside. He has 8 games in which he can sit out. I don't know if that's changed because of the extra game or not, but he can sit out for like 8 weeks of the season. And you got to hold that money. It's not like you can just say, okay, well, we'll put that money elsewhere. You can't, because if he decides to come back, you got to pay him. So you got to hold that spot. So that means not only are you not getting your quarterback, but you don't have any more money to go out and sign anybody else. And you're not reworking the deal. You're not restructuring anything. Nothing. So if you can't come to an agreement between now and the end of this month to restructure his deal, how are you, one, only being $3.5 million, $4 million under the salary cap? How are you going to sign all your draft choices? That's first and foremost. Secondly, after June 1st, who are you cutting? Unless you redo Devontae Adams' deal, and from what I understand, Devontae's kind of like, what do I want to do? I mean, if Aaron's not going to be throwing me the ball, what am I going to do? You know? So how do you redo the deal that there's a lot of uncertainty? And there's a lot that's hinging on this. You got to get this done. You got to figure it out. So if he's not going to play for you, then you're probably going to make a deal. I know people don't want to hear that. You got to figure something out. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. 877-867-1670. Let's do this. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Eric in Madison. Eric, how you doing, man? What's going on?
Bill, how are you, sir?
I am doing well today. What's on your mind?
Well, I was all stoked about talking about the draft. Then you started with Aaron Rodgers. He's honestly not doing us any favors, and he really doesn't have to. It's right, but I mean, there's so many different ways you can go with this. I'm basically of the opinion that, you know what, if he doesn't want to play in Green Bay, ask him, you want to go to Denver? You want to go to Oakland/Las Vegas? And just send him off. I mean, unfortunately, we'd have to get a quarterback in return, so how are you going to pay that quarterback to replace Rodgers?
Right.
He's going to cost a ton of money in dead cap, so you're going to have to cut half the team and restructure the other half to fit it. But either that or it's you pay him to sit on his backside for 8 games. Maybe he comes back second half of the season, says, see, Jordan Love isn't all that good. And how are the fans going to feel with him sitting out for 8 games? So if he's worried about fan perception, he's killing it. He's killing himself fan base wise, I believe. And if it's actually true that he said he won't come back if Brian Gutekunst is GM, do you really want to let a star player have that much power? That sets an awfully bad. That's a Pandora's box open right there. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I completely get it.
How many stars will start that? But I'll say this. I'll get on a really nice note. If this kid Eric Stokes is as good as I think he's going to be, we can end up with Jair Alexander and Jair Alexander Jr. on the other side. Let's see the NFL have two better. Let's see the NFL, have 2 guys there. And I'll tell you what, nose tackle, as much as I like the kid Myers from Ohio State center, hopefully he'll be another Corey Linsley.
Yeah.
And Rodgers, wide receiver, we really needed him. I like that nose tackle kid from Florida. 340, it's about time we get some size in the middle of the line. You want to talk about a run stopper? Oh, that's not a bad way to go. If this kid can get the technique down and really get the work ethic going and be professional, which I think he could, at 6'4", 340, a big boy like that in the center, he's going to take up some blocks. He's going to open up a lot of space for a lot of linebackers. So I think that's really going to be a nice move if this kid pans out.
I hope that a couple of the guys that they got, if they can really become impact players, specifically in year one. Now, I don't know. I mean, it really doesn't matter if you don't have Aaron Rodgers under center, but If they can
Yeah.
kind of work this thing out, maybe bring him back into the fold and do some things here in year one with some of these guys, I think that they're still a very viable team. But I know the odds right now for Super Bowls are completely fluctuating simply because of the uncertainty of Aaron Rodgers playing for the Packers again. So we'll wait and see.
Oh, certainly, because we don't know what we have with
Right.
Jordan Love. But I'll say this: if some of these defense guys did pan out in year one, which it's a stretch, let's be honest, it takes a couple years to get into the groove. But if there's a year where you're going to have your defensive draft picks hit on year one, this is it. If you're going to replace Aaron Rodgers with Jordan Love, your defense better be a whole lot better than what it was.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. No, I get it.
You better pray these guys play it really well their rookie season, and they have a little bit of money to pick up a veteran after June 1st. Because, like I say, if Rodgers is going and Jordan Love might be an average quarterback with a great running game, a great defense, and an offensive line might get us to where we are. You never know.
Yeah.
We got a superstar quarterback with an average team. Now, if you can have a well above average team with an average quarterback, I mean, I don't know which way it flies, but I mean, I'm not going to be stupid and tell you we're going 13-3 with Jordan Love. But I will say, if you have a great defense, a great running game, you could throw the ball a little bit, and you got a quarterback that won't turn it over. Kind of like the Tennessee Titans. You know what I mean?
Right.
A good offensive line, a great running back, an average quarterback, great defense. And they got to the playoffs. So
they got to here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, and I appreciate the phone call, but they got to the playoffs. They didn't get to a Super Bowl, and we're past just getting to the postseason. Appreciate the phone call because I got to run here. The Packers are past getting to the playoffs. This is about winning Super Bowls. Now, if you're going to allow this quarterback and Aaron Rodgers to say, you know what, I'm done, I'm out of here, and this situation has escalated to that point, which I don't believe they do, you failed. I mean, there's no other way to put it. You failed as an organization. You screwed up. Period. This is his fracture. I don't remember it being this bad. Remember, Favre, when he was wavering, wanted to come back. He wanted to come back, and the Packers said, no, go away. Remember that? Now, they knew they had Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers waiting in the wings. The Packers, if the Packers believed that Aaron Rodgers, or if that Jordan Love was that, they would not be begging. They would not be flying out there. Lips extended, butt out to kiss his rear end. If they knew Jordan Love was all that in a bag of chips, they would not be flying out to California to go, hey, Aaron, please come back. Please, please, for the love of God, please come back. Please come back. 877-867-1670. I'll continue with the phone calls when we come back. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. That's coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program, the Bill Michaels Show on the air. We are glad you are with us. Thanks for joining us today on this Monday. The draft is in the books. Do you feel better about your Green Bay Packers? I know I feel better about the Milwaukee Brewers. How about the Brewers over the weekend? I mean, they got spanked yesterday, but who cares? You know, once you're getting beat like that, it's just, you know, put it on cruise control, get out of that game, don't burn everybody up, and move on. You know, it is what it is. But the Brewers right now tied for the best record in baseball. In baseball right now. How about that for your Milwaukee Brewers? I feel good about the Brewers. Feel really good about the Brewers. Say hi to our buddy Nick and everybody living up in the area of Crivets. Crivets today listening to the program. Want to say hi to Josh, who was listening to us up in Rice Lake on WJMC Radio, 1240 AM, by the way. Thanks to you guys for hanging out with us. Certainly appreciate it. And P-Dog says, where do I register to get signed up for the IndyCar tailgate? Go to BillMichaels.com. That's the Bill Michaels, Michaels. I know I gave out the wrong address before. But if now you go to thebillmichaels.com, and not only can you listen live, there's a link there to listen live, but you just scroll down a little bit and it says register now. You can't miss it. You can't miss it. It says win a tailgate with Bill to Road America. Tickets, a campsite for 6 people. We're not screwing around here. It's not just you and a buddy. We're bringing 6 people per winner. And our affiliates, depending on what area you're in, our affiliates are all going to win. So it's not like for just 6 people. Nay. I think we have 6 or 10 packages like this. This is going to be like 40, 50 people. We got a lot of people going. This is going to be a good time. Compliments of our friends at Quick Trip who are helping out. Our friends at Bud Light as well. Oh, it's going to be a good one. It is going to be a good one. Going to have a lot of fun. Austin says, hey, Bill, as always, love the show. A fan here in Virginia. Nito says, hello from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Love the program. And G-Dub says, Menominee Reservation in the house. Hey, congratulations and thanks for joining us from the Menominee Reservation. Love that. Rick says, I believe that the Packers board of directors has the power to tell Mark Murphy if he doesn't fix this, he and Goody will be replaced. They do, but that organization moves like an iceberg. They don't make knee-jerk decisions. They just don't. Let's go to Jeff. Listen, he's on hold right now. Jeff, how you doing today, buddy? What's going on, man?
Pretty good, Bill. Thank you very much.
You bet. What's up?
I believe that Rodgers will probably be back in Green Bay, but if he does need to be traded, I think there is one trade situation that makes sense. Trade him to Tampa Bay for Tom Brady, even up. Tom Brady would probably come to Green Bay and play for 2 years, and Rodgers gets to say he forced a trade and gets to go to a team that's all in.
Now, let me ask you this. Let's just say Brady, let's say this happens, because I don't think it would. Okay, I think it's 99% chance that it won't. But what would that mean if Brady came here and immediately won a Super Bowl? Think of that.
He'd be able to say that he took a team to the Super Bowl that Rodgers could not get there.
Think of that. Wow.
Now, the only downside is I do not think Brady's family would want to come to Green Bay.
No, I don't think so either. I can't see. Well, you know what? Maybe Giselle would say, look, I'd embrace the Midwest. Who knows? You know what? They were tan now. They've got that darkened pigment. They're good to go. They can come up and hang out with us for a little bit. I think he's done with the cold weather, though. I mean, they lived in New England where those nor'easters get quite blustery. I don't think they want to come to the Midwest and sustain another winter in the frigid area that is Green Bay.
You got it. But I think that also would be a positive for the Green Bay salary cap also.
Well, they still have to pay Rodgers. I'm going to try to get Andrew Brand on to kind of break down the salary cap thing because I'm not 100% astute to it, but I know it wouldn't necessarily be easy just to say, hey, Aaron, we're going to trade you away. I think there's some money that would be come forcefully due, and I think that there would be some money that would be paid back, but I don't know how all that breaks down. But appreciate the phone call, man.
Now,
go ahead.
Would not Green Bay fans also be happy to get Tom Brady?
Oh, in a heartbeat.
So I think everybody is happy that way.
In a heartbeat, and for the exact reason I just stated, because let's just say that they win a Super Bowl with Tom Brady, then they would be able to point the finger at Rodgers and go, you're the one that couldn't do it. You forced your way out and you couldn't get it done. Not to mention then he doesn't win one because Brady does.
You know got it.
That's it. You're the man.
You got it.
Thanks for thinking outside the box. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
He drops off. You get on board 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Dan says this is like Tractor Watch version 2.0. Kind of, because Favre was always the, oh, golly gee, I might retire, I might not. So we were always waiting for him whether or not he was going to retire. This is just, it's not that Rodgers hates the organization as a whole. I mean, there's people in the organization he loves. I mean, he enjoys the fans. I get it. But there are people in that front office he just, for whatever reason, he flat out doesn't like or doesn't trust, one of the two. I think it's been stated he just doesn't trust him. 877-867-1670. Todd says, for the giveaway, how do listeners/viewers on the live stream enter? The only options are radio affiliates. No, they are not. This is the way you enter right now. Again, go to the Bill Michaels. So if you're watching on a live stream, that means you've got access to the internet. Go to the Bill Michaels, MICHAELS.com right now. Go to thebillmichaels.com. Thebillmichaels.com. And when it pops up, you scroll down. You'll see a little bit about the Bill Michaels Show. You'll see it's sponsored by Quick Trip. And then, bam, right there, register now. The Rev Group Grand Prix, IndyCar, coming to Road America. Oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Go there right now. Start registering. Everybody loves tailgates. Everybody loves, outdoors, summertime, Wisconsin. You better believe it. Sporting event. We can't tailgate down to the ballpark, so that's out, right? Can't go to Lambeau. Nothing going on. Can't go to Camp Randall. Can't really do much. We're kind of got other things on the mind, so let's go to a big event. What's coming? IndyCar. IndyCar's the first one. NASCAR's the second one. Let's go to IndyCar. There you go. Go to IndyCar. Simple. We're going to tailgate, free food, free beverages. Oh, you better believe it. You better believe it. Good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's all coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. Right now, our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, they are getting you 6 years, no interest financing at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And why is that a big deal for you? Now, you figure 6 years, no interest, that lets you completely upgrade your old leaky, sticky, squeaky windows and doors. They've extended this. Remember, it was only through the end of April. Now they've extended this because so many people are doing it. They want to make sure everybody gets a chance to get in on this because it's become such a popular thing. To get 6 years, no interest financing. Pella, by the way, rated #1 in America, not Wisconsin, but America, for the highest value, highest quality, and increasing your home's value based upon their surveys. Plus, installation from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin means peace of mind with both the limited lifetime warranty and a 10-year installation warranty. So if there's, not that there's ever a problem, but if there is, they're going to take care of it. That's a big deal. You see, unlike, say, the long-term car financing type of stuff where you're making payments even after the warranty's expired, Pella makes sure that you have a warranty after you finish paying them off. So beat the summer heat. Stay cozy in the winter with energy-efficient windows and doors from Pella, Wisconsin. Right now. You can order by the end of May 31st. 6 years, no interest financing. Set up your free consultation today. Free consultation today. Check it out. Go to PellaWI.com/radio. PellaWI.com/radio. Or go to 85, or just call them. Set up the appointment. You can go into the experience centers, or you can have them come to your house. They're happy to do that. They do it all. If you require the CDC stuff, they're good with that. No problem. Call them 855-PELLA-WI. 855-PELLA. 855-PELLA-WI. That's 855-PELLA-WI right now. 855-PELLA-WI. And they'll get it done for you. They're just good people over there. They really are. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here in the studio, and I just went outside on the deck, the rooftop deck here. And as I'm looking down, I'm opening the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin door, and I'm noticing the kick plate and the little stop down there. I mean, you can't get the windows open. They're secure. In today's day and age, you want security as well. And that's another peace of mind thing. So they're secure. Just, kick away that kick plate, little knob that's down there that locks that door into place. So nobody can open it inside or outside, even if you got a key. You can't do it. So it's just such peace of mind. So good stuff. Get a hold of our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Go to PellaWI.com/radio. A lot to get to. So James says, let's talk some Brewers and Bucks. Brewers taking 3 out of 4 from the Dodgers with 15 on the IR. Bucks beating the Nets. Look, we will. We will. There's a time and place. We will. Nito says maybe the 49ers deal wasn't too bad after all. That way you get rid of the noise from Aaron Rodgers. Well, here's the thing with the 49ers deal. And people say, well, that's a dead deal. No, not really. It doesn't have to be, because they can still give up draft choices and starters and such. They can still do that if the Packers would decide to go in that way. And the reason it's not dead is because that's one of the teams that Aaron Rodgers would like to go to. If indeed he would get traded, that's one of the teams he would like to go to. And I know that people are talking about Oakland, which is now the Las Vegas Raiders. There's a discussion about that as well. We're going to hear from Eric Goodman of Mile High Sports as to the reason why Denver, in many minds, is becoming, at least if there is a deal to be made, possibly a front runner. And one of the biggest things regarding Denver is you get them out of the NFC. Denver would like to do with Aaron Rodgers what they did with Peyton Manning. And that is bring him in, surround him with some good people, and take a couple of shots at it while he's still got, gas left in the tank. So that's the reason Denver came to the forefront so quickly. 877-867-1670. if you want to find us there. But I agree with you. Many are saying, why doesn't, and we talked about this earlier. The $1 million question is, why doesn't Rodgers step in front of, even if it's going on Pat McAfee's show, just step to the forefront. And now Pat McAfee's got to ask the additional questions, about why do you not want to go back to Green Bay? And maybe he'll say, look, I never said that. What I've said is this. Then can you expound upon the rumors that are out there? It was my understanding during the Wednesday night discussion that it was like, hey, we're not making an official offer here, but what if you got Garoppolo, the 3rd overall pick, some additional picks in years to come, maybe a starter or two, and the Packers are like, no, we're not going to do that. But from what I understand, the offer was already made, or at least put out there, to where Rodgers knew about you, or knew about this, And he was like, yeah, I'd do that. I'll do that. Sure. And then the Packers said, yeah, we're going to take a really bad PR hit for this. Remember, it was Mark Murphy that back in January, beginning of February, said, what, we're not idiots? Remember that comment? We're not idiots. Come on. There's no way we're getting rid of our quarterback. And then all of a sudden, a couple months later, your quarterback's gone. you kind of would look stupid. Now, Brian Gutekunst said, hey, we're not trading him. Not trading away Aaron Rodgers. So he's hell-bent on trying to work this. And maybe they do. Look, as a fan, I hope they work it out. I do. If this all goes away and Aaron Rodgers say, I want to stay, and I'm whatever, great. I think as a fan, you would love that, right? You would love nothing more than for Aaron Rodgers to come back and say, let's give it another shot. Or 2 or 5. But I think at some point, there's got to be some concessions and some guarantees made here. 1 hour down, 3 more to go. Coming up in the next hour, Rob Reichel, Forbes.com, covers the Green Bay Packers. We're going to get his thoughts on the draft, and God knows we're going to talk a little bit about the swirling saga as the world turns. That is the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Wisconsin Sports Zone Update.
Well, the 2021 NFL Draft is in the books, and the Green Bay Packers selected 9 players, including 3 offensive linemen, 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, and then 4 on the defensive side of the ball, starting with their first-round pick number 29, with the cornerback Eric Stokes out of Georgia. Here's more from GM Brian Gutekunst on his draft class.
Our football team is going to be a hard team to make. At the same time, the quality of the individuals, the talent level, and not only that, but the people that we're bringing in from this particular draft class, I feel very good about improving not only the top of our roster, but then also kind of the back end as well.
The real drama, though, continues to stem from 2020 when the Packers selected Jordan Love, as that has got the air of Aaron Rodgers. Yahoo Sports reports that Rodgers remains adamant that he won't return to the team under the current stewardship of general manager Brian Gutekunst, and Rodgers head coach Matt LaFleur can't believe it.
I can't fathom not being in Green Bay. So that's where my mind's at. I don't only love the player, but I love the person. I love working with him on a daily basis. I think we all do, from the players in that locker room to the coaching staff. And again, I don't even want to let my mind go there.
From the kennel to the coop, whatever the season, Fleet Farm has everything to keep your animals happy and healthy. From training your pup to sit season to mastering those retrieval skills season. From clipping your horse for competition season to keeping the backyard birds well-fed season. And of course, loving your pets like family season. There's a reason people say, if Fleet Farm doesn't have it, you don't need it. Because we have it all. Fleet Farm. Built for real life.
The Milwaukee Brewers missed out on sweeping the LA Dodgers, having to settle on taking 3 of 4 against the defending World Series champions this weekend, as the crew fell yesterday 16-4. The Brewers now hit the road for 7 games starting today in Philadelphia. And finally, powered by 49 points from Giannis Antetokounmpo, yesterday saw the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Brooklyn Nets 117-114. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
How are we looking on a Monday? Hour number 2 of the Bill Michaels Show. Hour number 1 for many of you listening all throughout the state of Wisconsin. I am not leaving. I love you all. Not going anywhere. And even when I did, I left and came right back. Just changed some things around. The Aaron Rodgers story, though, that saga continues. When you talk about Aaron saying, "Hey, I'm not happy here," whether it's with the organization or specific people, whatever it happens to be, he is at least posturing at this point to get out of here. Now, here's the $1 million question, and it's time, not just for me, but for everybody involved. Aaron Rodgers needs to take to a microphone somewhere, whether it's back on the Pat McAfee show or it's meeting with the Wisconsin media or some national guy that he trusts or likes, whatever it happens to be. You know, it's time for Aaron to at least express what's going on. You know, let him be the guy that just says, "Hey, this is how I feel." Stop with the beautiful mystery crap. We all know that's a steaming pant load. Okay? It just is. Stop with it. It's not a beautiful mystery. The mystery is there is no mystery. The mystery is, how are you either going to, 1, reconcile and come back, or 2, force your way out of Green Bay? That's it. That's it. Are you prepared to retire? Do you really want to go do Jeopardy and the NFL, or do you just want to go do Jeopardy? Do you want to go to another team? Is there another team that you have a preference for? Are there 3? Are there 4? Are there 8? Is there 1? You know, it's time to go and put an end to a lot of this, or at least give some clarity to it, because I think it's legitimate. And the people that are always screwed. This portion of the program should be sponsored by Astroglide, because you and I as fans get screwed. Just saying. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free to go ahead and do so. 877-867-1670. Also, you can find us over on Twitter. And many of you have been following over there, and I appreciate that. Over on Twitter, at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. Facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. The Bill Michaels Show. You can find us on YouTube and on Twitch, and it's absolutely free of charge to subscribe to the channels there. We would never charge you for that. Go to youtube.com or twitchtv.com and just find Bill Michaels, Michaels. You're good to go. And you can always shoot us an email, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. Troy says Rodgers isn't going anywhere. RELAX. How much do you want to bet, Troy? How much would you like to bet? If you had to put a percentage on it, I would say, as I sit here today, I would put about 70% that Rodgers is no longer going to be playing for the Green Bay Packers. I'd say 70%. That might come down over time. It doesn't mean he won't. Just means that the percentage is right now where it's, if everything regarding all of that is true, then I would say 70% of it is that Rodgers is out the door. Now, financially, it just may not work, but do you think, let me ask you this. Now, think about this for a second. Okay, let's just say that the numbers don't work for the Packers. They just simply can't trade him. Do you think after all of this, unless there is some kind of just major consensus and concession, that Rodgers is going to go, you know what, for you guys, I'll come back and play another year. And then, you know, you can go ahead and deal me. Do you think he's going to do that? Do you think he's going to do that? If there's so much water that's under the bridge, do you think he's going to do that? That's what I'm saying. People say, well, you can't. You physically can't because you can't trade him because of the money. Well, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that next year's going to end up any better. Let's just say he sits out. Let's say, do you think at this point in time, unless unless Mark Murphy, Brian Gutekunst, or Matt LaFleur or Russ Ball or anybody else in that office is going to be able to convince him to come back and really kind of, because if they bring him back, then he's back to stay. He'll be back to stay. This isn't going to be a situation in which he comes back just to come back. He's not helping anybody out in that sense. Okay, he's not coming back just to play 1 year, just to, okay, here's the agreement. And no, I don't think that happens. He's either coming back or he's not. And now you're going to hear from Eric Goodman of Mile High Sports out in Denver coming up here a little bit later on the program. But he and I got into a conversation on his show last Friday. And one of the things that we talked about was, now I don't know what the personal situation is with Aaron and his family. Okay. I don't. I've heard speculation, but I'm not going to get into that. But the one thing I do know is, at least according to many, he's not reconciled with his family. That's his family. That's his family. What makes you think he's going to reconcile anything with the Packers? He won't talk to his family. You know? So unless he really comes to some kind of a really good belief that the Packers are in his corner and they've got his back and he's completely comfortable with that, what in the world makes you think he's just going to go, okay, I'll come back? I don't think that happens. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up? Feel free. 877-867-1670. Okay. A lot to get to. A lot of people on hold. And a lot of people also chiming in over in the Bud Light live stream. Let's see here. It depends on what is true. That's been said so far, and what is not. Media is still the media. Dan, I understand that, but we don't make stuff up. You know, people tend to say, well, the media is driving this. Well, to a certain extent, it's talked about because it's a big story. And Aaron Rodgers is a ginormous figure. I mean, think about last year, the offseason. Until Tom Brady signed with the Bucs, that's all we talked about, where Brady was going to go. It wasn't driven by the media. I mean, Brady was taking his time and was kind of doing his due diligence to figure out where he wanted to go. And then he went to the Buccaneers, and all the rumors, and much to the chagrin of many Patriots fans who didn't want him to go anywhere, and they said the exact same thing. He ended up going to the Buccaneers. Now, it's a different situation because they didn't trade him away. Craig says, funny how people that hated Aaron the most are now his buddies, like Colin Cowherd and Skip Bayless. Yeah, I know, right? Once those guys start agreeing with you, don't you feel like you're in the mud? You know? Don't you feel like you're in the mud? Mark says, let's see here, in the email inbox, he says, hey, Bill, thanks for a great show. Has anybody apologized? Nah, you know what? I don't worry about that. He's talking about when I kind of brought to the forefront what Paul Allen said the other day, and people jumped all over me for that. You know what? No, I posted that on Facebook. You know, we don't just make it up. He said the story has certainly changed. It's like the national people got scooped and they had to think of something else to bring up. So the whole situation with Aaron Rodgers hating Green Bay suddenly came to the forefront. Do you think all of this is true or some of it? I don't know. I do know that what I had reported, more so, I can't even say what I reported. I can't take credit for that. It was Paul Allen, the voice of the Vikings. And Paul's pretty well connected. And he doesn't do that all the time. So I think from what I understand, after digging a little bit, that, yeah, Aaron found out about, or at least heard about specifically what San Francisco was willing to do and wanted to do it. I mean, so I don't know if he was like, yeah, I want out of Green Bay. I can't stand Green Bay. I am mad at the Packers. Or if he just said, you know what, it'd be great to go back home. I don't know to what extent, but all of this, Aaron Rodgers tells the Packers he doesn't want to return to the team. There's a reason that Mark Murphy, Matt LaFleur, and Brian Gutekunst have flown out there. And Mark Murphy has now admitted that they all went to see Aaron. So that didn't come from, again, you want to blame the media, that's fine, but those are facts. Mark Murphy acquiesced to that. So this story that was originally, crapped on by many of you, this is true. But to answer your question, no, nobody's going to come back after some of the things that were said to me and about me. Nobody's going to come back and go, up. You know what? Oh, you your props. I was wrong. Let's go to Jeff listening to us in Minocqua. Jeff, how you doing today, man? What's going on? Jeff, let's put Jeff back on hold. Jeff, you got to turn your radio down, man. Got to turn the radio down. Let's got another email here this is from Chris. Chris says, the saga in Green Bay makes it almost sick to be a fan. It seems like we are completely forgotten about. All we wanted was a better team around Aaron Rodgers to get to a Super Bowl, and now we end up here today with Aaron Rodgers possibly not coming back. What the hell is wrong with Brian Gutekunst? Is this his ego that's getting in the way? Why in the world would you draft a quarterback that nobody thought was a first-round draft choice to begin with and start this mess over that guy? Again, you'd have to... Someday, somebody's going to write something about what went on behind the scenes at 1265 with Gutekunst, Russ Ball, Mark Murphy, Matt LaFleur, and all of this, and the draft choice for Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. Look, I can't throw Brian Gutekunst completely under the bus because he saw what a lot of us saw. That it looked like Aaron was just making some errant throws, like he wasn't making Aaron Rodgers-esque plays. He looked a little off. Don't get me wrong. He's still smartest guy in the room, tremendously talented, and you can still win with him for a long time to come. But I think they thought, maybe this is the beginning of the downside as Father Time might be catching up with Aaron Rodgers. But if you're going to do that, I don't think you get aggressive in the first round, especially trading up. And like I said before, now think about this. Because when they basically told Brett, okay, we're done dealing with the I will, maybe I won't stuff, and they just pushed him and said, okay, you're done. They knew what Aaron Rodgers was, waiting in the wings. Now, he'd been there 3 years, but they knew what Aaron Rodgers was. They knew that almost from day one, that this guy's just got a different something, okay? And they didn't beg Brett to stay. Brett is funny because once they drafted Aaron Rodgers, Brett really didn't do the whole golly gee, will I or will I not anymore. Not as publicly as he once did. And plus they knew that Rodgers people were saying, hey, look, Rodgers can start and he can start today. So if he's not going to be your starter, then we're going to go ahead and that last year, his contract, we're going to move him on. We're not even going to take that rookie, pick up that rookie fifth year. Don't even do it. We're going to go ahead and push his way out because he wants to start. Jordan Love probably wants to start, but if the organization knew that Jordan Love was all that in a bag of chips, there's no way in hell that they're running out and flying out to California, not once, not twice, but 3 different times to go see Aaron Rodgers and beg him to come back and try to bury the hatchet. They wouldn't be doing that. Let's go back to the phone. Let's start Jeff in Minocqua again. Jeff, how you doing, man? What's going on?
And thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
Couple of thoughts that I got, Bill. First off, let him go. I mean, I love Rodgers, but if you don't want to be here, let him go. The Packers could win a Super Bowl with a good game manager. Case in point, Brady. He ain't the superstar pass thrower quarterback that Rodgers is, but you could see what he did with Tampa Bay. Secondly, again, let him go. Let him go to Denver this year. In case you didn't know, the Packers do play the AFC West teams this year, which include Las Vegas Raiders, Denver Broncos. Let them go. There'd be a little revenge for sure on the guys on the defensive end of the ball. So just thought I'd make those comments. And again, thank you for taking my call, Bill. And Love the show.
Appreciate it, pal. Talk to you soon. He drops off. You get on board 877-867-1670. Now, again, I don't know the extent of the ramifications of trading Aaron Rodgers when it comes to the financial side of things. I know there's some stipulations there that could be hard to get around or really could kind of business-wise hurt the team. So I don't know. I'm going to effort to get our good guy Andrew Brann on. He's kind of the capologist. He can tells us what happens when you trade a guy away that has that much money on his salary yet. But we'll figure that out. But now the other side of this coin is let's just say the new Las Vegas Raiders really come calling, a team that Aaron Rodgers also looked over the fence to when he was living out in California growing up. Maybe Derek Carr ends up being your quarterback, an experienced quarterback until you figure out if Jordan Love is a real deal or not. You make that deal. I don't know. 877-867-1670. Hang in there. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Cider Boy Strawberry
high
Magic
fives
Card
all around. We made it through another winter. And now the weather is changing. It'd be cool to sip something summery, right? Hey, we're here for you. Quick pick up a smooth pick-me-up at Quick Trip for under $1.99. Fresh blend yourself a 12-ounce fresh smoothie, a frappe, a frozen lemonade, or a cold brew. Bam! You're sipping some summer. Quick and under $1 for a limited time. Only one place. Get you to summer quicker. Quick Trip. See you next time.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Season, it is upon us. And our good friends over there at Quick Trip, they've got all kinds of good stuff. Chops, chicken, brats, ground chuck, all at Quick Trip. Everything you need for grilling or tailgating. It's kind of your one-stop shop. When you're talking about being on the go, that's our friends at Quick Trip. And when you're out there, when you're out and about, Quick Trip, they're the official convenience store of summer. And they've got the lowest legal beer prices on your favorite 24 and 30 packs all summer long, including Bud Light and so much more. So much more over there at Quick Trip. Stop in at Quick Trip anytime, any place. Quick Trip all over the upper Midwest. Good people. Appreciate them for being a part of the program. And, by the way, for being a part of our tailgate. Did you know what's coming up? If you've not done it already, it is up and running now. I checked. IndyCar racing coming to Road America. I want to take you with me. This is our first big event. The NTT IndyCar Series Rev Group Grand Prix. And it's presented by AMR. It takes to the legendary Road America track in beautiful Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, June 17th through the 20th. I'm going to be there. We're going to do our show there. Going to be doing some camping there, RVing there. And all you got to do is go to the Bill Michaels. THE Bill Michaels, MICHAELS.com right now. Scroll down a little bit. Bam, right there. Register to win. I want to set you up with race tickets for you and 5 more friends. How about that? Camping, tailgate party for you and 5 of your friends. We're going to down some brats, going to down some beverages, all from our friends at Quick Trip. Going to catch up on the IndyCar action. It's going to be an awesome day. Awesome day, awesome event, fantastic tailgate. It's the NTT IndyCar Series Rev Group Grand Prix presented by AMR, June 17th through the 20th at Road America. Get all the details and enter right now. Go to TheBillMichaels.com, TheBillMichaels.com, and tickets and camping and tailgating and all that stuff with me from our friends at Quick Trip and Road America. Go to TheBillMichaels.com. Coming up here at bottom of the hour, we've got our good buddy Rob Reichel going to be joining us from Forbes, who also covers the Green Bay Packers. We'll talk with him coming up here at the bottom of the hour, so stay tuned for that. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Aaron Rodgers, the saga continues. We'll get back into that coming up here at the bottom of the hour. I did want to talk a little bit about the NFL draft. And I'm going to give you periodically throughout the show today what is relevant when it comes to our friends from our lads for the Green Bay Packers and their draft and who they drafted. Just to give you a little bit more of a lowdown on this, because I think it's pertinent as to who the Packers picked up. And by the way, the kid from Mississippi State, Kylan Hill, the running back, by the way, drafted late, 3-year starter, opted out of the 2020 season. So you don't even really have a book on this guy from this past year. He averaged 5.6 yards per carry, caught 67 passes, can catch out of the backfield. Got the kind of frame and balance, they say, to withhold a full beating from NFL defensive backs and guys in the front week to week. He is stronger than he looks, and he knows how to miss the brunt of the hit. Best suited for a rotational role in the backfield. So that's one of the reasons the Packers picked him up, because that guy then goes behind Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. And don't forget, you still have Dexter Williams back there too. Low to the ground runner. Pad level. We talk about pad level all the time, especially when Mike McCarthy was, gotta get pad level down. Shows plus agility and a lot of good torque. He can break tackles and with some late movement. He's a 4.5 runner. He's not overly fast, but a 4.5 runner. He does take a hit well, though, if he does take one. Very decisive runner. He's not going to waste a lot of time dancing around after he gets the ball. And he's got some good hands. Now, the knock against him is he can get caught from behind, doesn't bend well around contact, and he can get knocked backward and inside a little bit too often. He's not going to be a guy that's going to push the pile. He's more effective in space than he is in traffic. So those are some of the knocks against him. But that is the draft analysis on the 7th round draft choice out of Mississippi State, the running back, Kylan Hill. So Strong guy, can take a hit, but he's not going to move a pile. He's better in space. And he's very decisive, can catch the ball as well, but he's more of a rotational guy than he is an every down back. There you go. So just giving you an update. 877-867-1670. The previous caller was wrong, by the way. The Packers, he said the Packers play the AFC West this year. Actually, it's the AFC North this year. That I do know. Because I've already got friends from Cincinnati calling me wanting tickets. So Kevin Kennedy, and Moseny up there listening to the program today as well. Also pointing that out. Good stuff. 877-867-1670. Mark Murphy wrote that the Packers have been working with Rodgers and his agent, David Dunn, to resolve the concerns about the organization. Now, Murphy doesn't specify the nature of the concerns. He said, though, we remain committed to Aaron in 2021 and beyond. He is not only a tremendously talented player, but has developed into a true leader for us. The relationship that Aaron has forged with Matt and the other offensive coaches has propelled us to the brink of a Super Bowl in 2 straight years. We look forward to competing for another Super Bowl championship with Aaron as our leader. He has 3 years remaining on this contract after signing that 4-year, $134 million extension. The speculation regarding Rodgers' long-term future began when the Packers traded up to get Jordan Love. It all started there. On the night the Packers selected Love, Gutekunst acknowledged to reporters that he had not yet contacted Rodgers about the move. And Rodgers said that move caught him by surprise. Gutekunst now acknowledges, certainly looking back at last year's draft, and just kind of maybe some of the communication issues we could have done better. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. 877-867-1670. Let's get back to the phone calls. Talk to Jamie on hold right now. Jamie, how you doing?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Bill.
You bet. What's up?
One, kudos to the Brewers this weekend for taking the Dodgers 3 out of 4. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
And I actually like who the Packers drafted. I like that they beefed up the lines because, like we always talk about it, or get some depth, I should say. Because I agree with you on this one is you win in the trenches. So, and the other thing is, kind of a question I have about this is with Aaron Rodgers, one, he's under contract, so you should honor your contract just like anyone else should. But why does everyone feel, and maybe I'm being dumb about it, that you need to tell the quarterback, hey, we're going to go draft somebody, and just so you know. I mean, we don't do it with wide receivers or centers or long snappers or anybody else.
No, you don't do it with them, but you do it with star players. I mean, just any star for that matter.
And so, and I get, I wish they went to trade it up for Love. I don't care if they drafted Love, but you know, they got to look at, I look at it like, you know, they needed to look out for the franchise too, because Rodgers has been known to miss some games here and there. So, and he was, in my opinion, he was due to miss some games, but obviously didn't miss any. So, just because he seems like he gets injured like every 2 to 3 years, he misses some games.
He's only had 2 years in his entire career in which he's had an injury that's caused him to miss games, and both of those were broken collarbones. Other than that, he hasn't missed a game. Thanks for the phone call.
My bad.
Just appreciate the phone call. I get what you're saying, and that seems to be the misnomer. Yeah, he had the bad calf, but don't forget the year he had the bad calf, he still played well, and he took him to an NFC Championship game. That was against Atlanta. Remember, he was dancing around back there on a bad calf muscle, could hardly walk, and yet was still able to throw that pass to Jared Cook along the sideline, put him in a scoring position in which Mason Crosby kicked the field goal. Also in 2014, he was a little bit banged up as well, but still played well. You know, you don't get to the postseason, you don't get to NFC Championship games with a bad quarterback or a quarterback that can't play. He's only missed time because of the broken collarbones. That's it. Remember, because people say, well, Brett Favre never missed a game. Well, Brett Favre also had a bad thumb, could barely throw. He had a bad ankle for about 6 weeks, could barely walk. You know, Brett was the Iron Man, but had Brett actually been in concussion protocol, chances are Brett misses quite a few games. You know what I mean? 877-867-1670. When we come back, Rob Reichel, Forbes.com. He covers the Green Bay Packers. He's our guy. We're going to talk with him about all of this mess and all of this drama. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Get out and ride the motorcycle. The motorcycle was just, 80 degrees, sunshine. I think I got a little sun, even from already the tan that I had coming from Marco Island down in Florida in my little getaway a few weeks ago. But, man, what a beautiful day to ride. And Wisconsin Harley-Davidson, they have the best rides around. Not only the best rides, but when it comes to merchandise, service, parts, and they're making the deals like nobody else. Get a hold of our friends, Craig and the whole gang out there at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson for all the inventory and everything that they have to offer just south of 94 and Highway 67 in Oconomowoc. Go to wishd.com. That's wishd.com. That is wishd.com. They are also going to be a big part of our charity motorcycle ride this year for Fisher House, Wisconsin. So they're going to be part of that. They're going to be part of our ride to Sturgis this year as well. So we got a lot going on with our good friends out there at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. Again, on 94 or just south of 94 on Highway 67 in Oconomowoc. Go to wishd.com, wishd.com. Our buddy from Forbes, Rob Reichel, now joining us on the hotline. Rob, how you been, pal?
Good. I don't think I've been as good as you. You're taking trips. You're riding bikes. You're all over the place. So I wish I lived the Bill Michaels life someday.
Well, the saga has begun, and now it's kind of as the G turns, if you will. And let's start first and foremost with just the draft. Give me your thoughts on the Packers side of the draft and what you thought their draft prospects were.
No, I liked it, and I liked it quite a bit, Billy. I listed their top 5 needs coming into the draft as O-line, number 1. They got 3 of them. Wide receiver, they got 1 in the 3rd round. Corner, they got a couple, including the 1st round pick. Inside linebacker, I thought was glaring. They waited a little bit on that and didn't get one until the 6th round. But I think they're going to add a veteran at that position at some point in time, and so you won't see probably the rookie or both the young guys from last year, Martin and Barnes, and then defensive line. And again, they waited a little bit there. You can't get everything right away. And they got Slayton there in round 5. So Bill, they hit all their main need areas. They filled out at the end. They got their 3rd running back because they're going to need a 3rd one with Jamal Williams gone. You can always argue, did they go a little too high for some of these guys? Stokes maybe in round 1. Some people will tell you it's a slight reach. Newman in the 4th. Gene Charles in the 5th. Some of these guys, but obviously they, that's where they were on their board. I like Brian Gutekunst's aggressiveness quite a bit, Bill. In that 3rd round where he jumped back up to get Rodgers. I mean, we all know around here just what a weapon Randall Cobb was from, let's say, about 11 to 15 or 16 when he was a healthy guy working out of the slot, just the difference that can provide to an offense. And, late in his career, Randall was beat up a little bit, and then he left after 18, and they haven't had a slot guy since then. So Amari Rodgers certainly has a chance to, I think, Bill, come in and catch 50 balls right away from the time he steps on the field. I think Myers is an immediate plug-and-play guy at center, the 2nd-round pick, and Matt LaFleur certainly hinted on Saturday night that Eric Stokes is going to have every possibility and every chance to win that opposite corner job of Jair, which tells me a little bit, Bill, because there's no guarantee and there's no huge salary cap hit that, if Stokes beats out Kevin King, you may still not see Kevin King on this roster in 2021 because they are deep now at cornerback. So, no, I like what they did overall, Bill. none of us know for sure until we see these guys live, right? Until they're on the field. But it certainly looks at first glance like it was a pretty good draft class for goooooo.
Yeah, I like, and I said, because I know people were upset, well, this says something to Aaron Rodgers. They're going for defense. They need a defense. I mean, no, what it says is your team's trying to get better. Eric Stokes, I really like. I agree with you that he's really going to battle Kevin King for that starting spot. Hey, if Josh Myers is anything like Corey Lindsley, man, you're in good hands right now. And that means you don't have to really have a big jostling of your offensive line and covering for David Bakhtiari until he comes back, because you now have additional depth. And I thought John Runyon played admirably. So, no, I don't have a problem with what they did. And then trading up to get Amari Rodgers out of Clemson. Look, I love that move. They added some depth, and they needed that. And, we knew they were going to get a wide receiver or two in this draft at least. So, but now you kind of wait and see, don't you? See what they're going to do with Devontae Adams and that contract extension?
Yeah, a couple of different spots there, Bill, right? Wide receiver and corner. There just aren't a lot of guys, at least before this past weekend, that were going to be under contract into 2022. So they had to replenish the depth at those spots. And, I know they only got one of those wideouts. They probably would have liked two through the course of the draft. I would certainly anticipate Devontae came into the league in, 14? So this is only year 8 for him. I mean, I certainly anticipate he gets one more contract out of Green Bay. And, but boy, we have seen enough, Bill. When a receiver gets to 32, 33 is when they really do start to kind of fall off the cliff a little bit. So I'm sure they'll be careful how they structure that. And, goooooo had indicated, Billy, that, on Saturday night when he wrapped this whole thing up, there's another one or two of these guys they wouldn't mind bringing back in 2022, whether that's Lazard or, whether that's St. Brown or MBS or whoever. But, wide receiver will certainly be a big need again, I'm sure, in the 2022 draft, because there's a chance, all they could have coming back a year from now would be Adams and Rodgers and maybe one of those other guys. So I'm sure they would have liked one more there along the way, but I don't think their board quite fell that way. And corner was a similar situation, Bill. Just they don't have a lot of guys under contract moving forward. They'll obviously get Jair done at some point in time, but after that, they definitely needed some help, and I think they found it. At least certainly looking to 2022 and beyond with Stokes and maybe Gene Charles. So no, I think this draft, Bill, helped kind of fill a lot of needs now and positions that were going to be real concerns looking ahead down the road. So no, I think they did some really good things over the weekend.
See, I like what they did. I know they didn't receive a lot of praise for it because people are looking so hard at, fortifying the offensive side of the football for Aaron Rodgers. But I like, because I never said that they had to go get a wide receiver. Just go get guys that can give you depth and maybe can play some special teams and help you out there as well. And this team will be just a little bit better. And that's all they really needed to be. Now the question becomes, what do you do with Aaron Rodgers? And Rob, I'll ask you, give me your helicopter view of this whole mess that is the Green Bay Packers and Rodgers right now.
Well, number one, Bill, I think the timing of when Aaron released a lot of this stuff to people was very childish and ridiculous. Imagine, inside somebody's workplace, inside your workplace, and inside GE, and inside Miller Coors. I don't care where, right, Bill? On the biggest day of the biggest weekend of their particular year. They get their building blown up. And I thought the timing was ridiculous of when this stuff came out. For Aaron to do this pretty much on the 1-year anniversary of the Jordan Love pick, I think that was his way of sticking it back to the organization and sending them into an absolute frenzy 5 hours before the draft. And, Bill, I'll use the word again. I think it was childish. Now, they're clearly at a standstill. If you're Green Bay, Bill, and you've already sent out your 3 most prominent people to meet with Rodgers, and he has no interest in a reconciliation, I'm not sure where you go from here, right? I mean, you've already sent out Murphy, Gutekunst, and LaFleur, and you've gotten absolutely nowhere. So now, big picture, Billy, I look at it like, all right, you have this unbelievable asset and chip here. He's coming off an MVP season, 48 touchdowns, a passer rating of 120 again. I mean, he's let's be honest, he's in the top 3 players in the league. And if you have a chance to turn him on June 1 for 3 firsts and a player or 2 or a couple extra picks or something like that, I would personally do it, Bill. Now the key to all this becomes, I mean, it's very simple. Can Jordan Love play? And none of us know that. But, Bill, I'll tell you what, if he can, this is a football team that's pretty darn good at most of the positions right now. And now you have this enormous amount of draft capital, right? Not only your own first next year, but let's call it 3 future firsts, because that's what Detroit got for Matt Stafford. So you're talking 4 number 1s over the next year or 2. You're gonna find yourself in a lot better position with the salary cap if you wind up moving on from Aaron, Bill. He's got the highest salary cap hit in the league this year. Jordan Love's at about $4 million. All the fans out there, Bill, that scream every single season, why didn't they sign this wide receiver or this defensive end or this corner? Well, a year or 2 from now, Bill, they'll be able to do that, much like they did the one-off season where they brought in the 2 Smiths and Amos and Billy Turner. Bill, I think it's really tricky that this relationship is so, frayed and it appears almost broken, right? It's like a divorce where, a looming divorce where somebody's already moved out of the house and now you're just letting the lawyers kind of take care of things. It's really tough to reconcile. And I know Green Bay is going to give it a try here, Billy, but I don't think the odds of it are very good. And I certainly think once we get to June 1st and the salary cap hit is far less than what it would have been this draft weekend, you're going to see a divorce here.
That's what I said. I thought it was going to happen in that sense. And also what I'm getting a lot of is that there's a little bit on the scene like a shark for run to Denver. And we're going to talk with Eric Goodman of Mile High Sports coming up. I agree. I don't know why this thing went so wrong, so seemingly fast. Do you get the sense that Aaron just knew this was coming? He was going to give it one more shot in Green Bay and then thought to hell with it after that? Or do you think something else happened that sparked all of this?
Well, one of my theories, Bill, and I think you're spot on that maybe, with part of that there is that he said, let's give it one more chance there in 2020. He'd come back, he'd play the good soldier, they'd make one more run in it. He knew he had a really good football team around him, and they wound up falling short. Now, one of my theories, Bill, is maybe the timing of this and maybe the reason Rodgers is pulling this now is because Jordan Love can actually play. And Rodgers has seen that. Bill, it's been tough for all of us, right? And practices are largely closed. We didn't have a preseason last year to see Jordan Love. We didn't have OTAs and the normal mini camps to see Jordan Love. But Aaron Rodgers saw him every single day, Bill. And maybe deep down Aaron Rodgers thinks, boy, this kid can play. And that's why Rodgers has wanted this, extra security from Green Bay. And when the Packers were kind of lukewarm on that at the end of the 2020 season, maybe this was Rodgers' next move in this chess game, right? Because if I remember back to 2007, Bill, by the time that summer had ended, we all knew Aaron Rodgers could play.
Oh, God, yeah.
And Brett was largely out of cards himself. He was kind of down to his final run with things, and then we had that mess in the summer of 2008. I mean, Bill, I remember being at the NFL Combine in February of 2008, and just off the record talking to a number of Packer coaches. I won't say who, but a lot of them felt had Rodgers been their quarterback in 2007, that was the year they fell to the Giants in the NFC title game, that they would have won that game. And so clearly at that point, the organization was ready to move on to Aaron. And now the whole key, and this is what we don't know, is again, can Jordan Love play? And Bill, I'll tell you what, if he can, they're going to be darn good again for the next 10 years, or certainly the next 4 or 5, because they've got a really nice football team right now assembled around the quarterback position. They're going to have a remarkable amount of cap flexibility and the ability, Bill, financially to go out and sign a lot of guys that people, let's be honest, have wanted them to sign over the last 20 years or so. So it all comes down to, is Jordan Love, 80% of Patrick Holmes, or is Jordan Love going to be a flop? And Bill, if the kid can play, and if he's in the top, let's say 12 quarterbacks in the league, Brian Gutekunst is going to look like a genius. And if he's not, he's probably on the unemployment line.
No doubt about it. Rob, I know we're running late. Always a pleasure, man. Thanks for joining us, and I'll keep watching out for your stuff on Forbes, and we'll be in touch, okay?
All right. Have a great day. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, pal. Talk to you later. There you go, Rob Reichel. Some good insight there. Let's do this. We'll step away, take a quick break, come back. Right after the top of the hour, Eric Goodman of Mile High Sports out in Denver is going to join us. You're going to get his take on whether or not Aaron Rodgers ends up in a Broncos uniform. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
On every day, go to jandltire.com, jandltire.com, and stop out and tell Lyle we said hi. Hey, coming up after the top of the hour, Eric Goodman of Mile High Sports is going to be joining us. We're going to talk more about this saga that is going on in Green Bay and what his thoughts are. I put it up over on the Twitter account. If you want to follow me at Bill_Michaels, Who do you feel is to blame in Green Bay for this mess. Aaron Rodgers, Brian Gutekunst, Mark Murphy. There's other, which is kind of the media. We want to get blamed for it all the time. Excuse me. 345 votes in the last 10 minutes and already. And 32.5% of you say it's Aaron Rodgers. 31% say it's Brian Gutekunst. Mark Murphy at 16 and other at 19.1%. So interesting to see where the angst is. Panther U says it's my fault. Okay. I'll take the blame. I didn't know I was that. If people say that it's my fault, I didn't know I was that powerful. It's kind of awe-inspiring, isn't it? You know? Think about it. If somebody thinks they're responsible for a national mess, well, that makes you a pretty much a powerful person. Hey, last night, big props to Giannis, man, dropping 49 on the Brooklyn Nets, and he was dominant in doing so. So a nice statement over Kevin Durant and company. So can they do it again coming up tomorrow night? Adrian Hauser takes to the hill tonight as the Brewers are on the road. So the Brewers, hopefully they can continue the winning ways and continue to win some series along the way. Tied for the best record in baseball right now, as a matter of fact. Kudos to them. Big stuff there. So stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. Coming up next, though, Eric Goodman, Mile High Sports. We're going to talk with him. About what he's hearing out in Denver. You're going to want to listen to this. What he's hearing out in Denver as the saga continues. That is our good friend Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers as to whether or not Packers remains Rodgers remains a Green Bay Packer, or he ends up possibly going to the Mile High City and what they're thinking. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's next.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Packers added 9 players to their roster in the NFL draft. Several more undrafted free agents this past weekend, included wide receiver Amari Rodgers in the 3rd round. GM Brian Gutekunst said Friday that they love Rodgers' versatility. Coach Matt LaFleur said the same when he spoke with reporters.
I think he's a legitimate receiver, whether we use him on the outside or in the slot. You know, he's got return ability. He could potentially be a dual returner for us. So I think he's a complete football player.
Meanwhile, a lot of focus remains on another Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers. He reportedly does not want to return to the Packers, upset with the pick of Jordan Love last year and other issues with Gutekunst and the front office. LaFleur remains optimistic they can get Rodgers to change his mind.
Well, I'll always remain hopeful and optimistic, and certainly we'll always welcome him back with open arms. He knows exactly how not only myself, but our staff and our players feel about him. And, you know, like I said before, I just can't imagine him not being in the Green Bay Packer uniform.
According to the NFL Network, Rodgers willing to miss the offseason program, hold out of training camp, potentially even walk away if the Packers don't satisfy his demands. Turning to the Badgers, they announced a home-and-home series with Utah today, game in Madison 2028, return game in 2033.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up, and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Well, the Brewers are on the road starting tonight in Philadelphia. The hope is Christian Yelich and Lorenzo Cain can return in the series, and the Bucks going to be hosting the Nets tomorrow night. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heilprin.
billmichaels@gmail.com. And we heard from Rob Reichel, who covers the Packers for Forbes a little while ago. Thanks to him for coming on the program. Now, the other piece of this story, when it originally broke and when we started talking about this Wednesday night, I think, I shouldn't say I think, a phone call was placed to Rodgers people, to the Packers. Hey, third pick overall, we'll give you a Garoppolo, some other picks, possibly some starters if Aaron Rodgers is interested in coming to San Francisco. Rodgers says yes. The Packers say no. Then everybody scrambles for a different storyline that Aaron Rodgers is pissed off, wants out, doesn't want to be a part of this thing anymore, and here's why. Well, then you start to find out, wait a minute, if the Packers would consider maybe moving him, it's not going to be to an NFC team, but possibly an AFC team. And who emerges? But the Denver Broncos. Joining us now from Mile High Sports out there in Denver is our good buddy Eric Goodman. Eric, how you doing, man?
I'm good, but I got to tell you something. I would much rather, and I'm sure your listeners would much rather listen to Limelight by Rush and just play the whole Moving Pictures album than listen to me talk about Aaron Rodgers.
I think at this point, a lot of people are scratching their head as to what went so wrong so fast. We all kind of know. We followed the saga and followed the story. But you tell me from just, you don't have to give away, state secrets, but from your significance in the end of this thing, how Denver all of a sudden emerged as possibly a name that's going to be tied to Aaron Rodgers relatively soon.
Well, this story really got started from my understanding by Rodgers' agent, who wants to get this done because he knows his client, Aaron Rodgers, is unhappy in Green Bay for a number of reasons, and you have probably the show. He wanted a mention probably about 3 years, I think, if I am correct, and the Packers would not acquiesce. Everybody in the country is familiar with the fact that, Rodgers has been dying for wide receiver help, and he hasn't gotten it. I find it interesting that the Packers are in damage control today through Ian Rappaport saying they wanted Justin Jefferson and they wanted another guy. Man, we just couldn't get him. I think they're trying to appease Rodgers, but at the end of the day, they didn't wind up getting those wide receivers. Honestly, if you wanted a wide receiver, you should have taken Laviska Shenault, and that might have made Aaron Rodgers happy. But at the end of the day, they drafted Jordan Love. So getting back to what we were talking about, Rodgers' agent, I believe, wanted to leak this story to the media on draft day to try and put the pressure on the Packers. How did Denver get involved? A couple of things. Number one, it is my understanding that his fiance has a home in Boulder. Aaron Rodgers is a West Coast guy. He has a chance to get closer to Northern California. So Denver is an option for sure because of his fiance. A good example is, and you have seen this a lot in sports, you wonder why a guy decides to go to a certain place, and sometimes family has something to do with it. Now, clearly, I'm not talking about Aaron Rodgers' family because everybody knows that story, but I'm talking about his fiance. Mike Munchak, one of the best offensive line coaches in the business, if not the best, wanted to come to Denver. Why? His grandbabies are here. And that's probably for one of the same reasons why Rodgers wants to come to Denver. Not to mention, the Broncos are loaded with young offensive skill players. Stuff that he has been wanting for a long time in Green Bay, something that the Broncos currently have, not to mention arguably a top 5 defense in this league.
Now the question becomes, how can they make this work if indeed, because I know Mark Schlereth has been very vocal saying, hey, this is going to be a done deal. You better book it. So the question then becomes, in your eyes, how do they make this deal work?
Well, they're going to have to make it after June 1st?
June 1st,
June
yeah.
2nd? Yeah, so the hit for the Packers isn't as great. It is my understanding the deal was not that close. And also, the Packers and the Broncos really are not even involved in this. This is all being back-channeled. So there is plausible deniability for your GM, and there is plausible deniability for the Broncos' new GM, George Payton. This is being back-channeled through people in the organization. That's how this is being done. That's how this is being talked about. So both teams can say, I don't even know what you're talking about. And that's what the Packers are currently saying right now. I don't even know what you're talking about. And that's coming from the mouth of the GM because he's not even involved in this.
Give me your thoughts as to, by the time this is all said and done, the likelihood of Aaron Rodgers being a Denver Bronco.
Well, there are other teams that are involved. Vegas is involved, but honestly, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, if I have my choice between the Raiders and the Broncos, I like the Broncos roster a lot better. You put Aaron Rodgers on this roster, for as great as Patrick Mahomes is and the Chiefs are, they have some serious competition to get to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers because the Broncos have all of the pieces in place if they had a great quarterback. They just don't. And that's why I think they would obviously like to get one. What would it cost for the Broncos to get him? My understanding is it would be 2 first-round draft picks, probably just to start. A player for sure, but one who is under control, meaning on a rookie deal and has good, salary numbers to fit into your salary cap. If I'm the Packers, I'm targeting Bradley Chubb. The guy's a Pro Bowler. He's an edge rusher. It's a premium position. You could make the case. What about Pat Surtain, who they just drafted out of Alabama? Well, you guys just took a cornerback in the first round, so I don't think they would wind up asking for him. Draymond Jones could be a possibility. He is an up-and-coming defensive lineman, and then maybe a couple of mid-round picks. But at the end of the day, and you and I talked about it on my show on Friday, I think the Packers are going to have to go to Rodgers hat in hand and beg and plead for him to come back.
I think
once Aaron Rodgers, better than I do, once he makes up his mind, that's it.
Yeah, I think, and I said today on the show, and I think I said it on your show, 75% of me says Rodgers will not play in Green Bay ever again. And I know Aaron Rodgers is not going to retire. He's just not. He's not going to walk away from the game. He'll sit out, but he's not going to retire. Yeah. So, and you're not, if you're the Packers, you're not letting him just waste away. You got to get some kind of a king's ransom haul for him if indeed you can make this work. So yeah, you're not going to let him just go away, and Rodgers is not going to go away. So you got to eventually make the deal work in some way, shape, or form if you know there's no reconciliation in place. Now, how integral do you think, even though John Elway's passing that torch, how much do you think John Elway may be lurking behind the scenes like the shark under the water right now, that dark spot?
I definitely think he is. I mean, one of the reasons why Peyton Manning came here was because of John Elway. His name cachet means a lot, even though, and make no mistake about it, he is not running the show here. This is George Payton's team. These picks were George Payton's picks. Elway is there to, when Elway left, he's still the team president. But I don't want to say he was forced out of his control, but essentially, Joe Ellis, the president, he knew something had to change. The Broncos haven't made the playoffs in 5 years. And before that, they wound up winning the Super Bowl. Even though Elway's drafts were better over the last couple of years, the franchise was just spinning its wheels because he could never find a quarterback in the draft. He wasted a first-round pick and traded up to get Paxton Lynch. Brock Osweiler didn't work out. I think since the Broncos won the Super Bowl, they have had 9 or 10 starting quarterbacks, which only the Chicago Bears could probably claim that. So it has been a major problem here. So Elway, I don't want to say was forced out, because that's a really strong statement, but he was essentially kicked upstairs to be the president of the team. And, John, we're going to pay your money. Enjoy your life. We'll ask your opinion when we need it. We would like you certainly to be involved, but you're not going to be making decisions anymore.
And by the way, we're talking with our good friend, Eric Goodman, Mile High Sports, and you can find him on Twitter at Eric Goodman, and talking about the possibility of the exodus of Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay, possibly going over to the Broncos. Give me your thoughts on the Broncos draft and what they did to continue to bolster this team. Now, they're still searching for that end-all be-all quarterback, but give me your thoughts as to what they did in this draft.
I like their draft. But then again, people are so quick to jump and give out grades right after it happens. We're not going to know for 3 years. I look at George Payton, who's a brand new GM. He came from the Vikings organization, which you guys in Wisconsin are familiar with. Rick Spielman has been very good in the draft. He just has. He's drafted a whole bunch of Pro Bowlers. But I don't know how much George was involved in those decisions. I'm guessing he was heavily involved from Rick Spielman. But right now, you look at George Payton and you don't have enough intel on him in terms of what his talent evaluation is like. It's kind of like in baseball. You see a pitcher for the first time. You don't have a scouting report. So I don't have a scouting report on George Payton. Overall, I know they loved Pat Surtain. And they loved him so much, they essentially ignored him publicly in terms of their interest. They didn't think he would be there at 9. They thought Carolina at number 8 was going to take Pat Surtain. As it turns out, they did take a cornerback, J.C. Horn, and they were stunned that Surtain was there. George never went to Surtain's pro day, never did a Zoom call with them. He told his staff, don't talk to him. They wanted to keep this so far under the radar that they didn't want anyone to know that they liked him. Then they trade up in the second round to get a running back out of North Carolina who some considered to be the best running back in the draft. I saw somebody write that was the worst move of the draft, trading up to get this guy. You know what? I have no idea if this guy is going to be any good or not. But I'll tell you this, I'm not going to say he made a bad move until I see a history of bad moves. And I think maybe you and I have talked about this. You know, a lot of Broncos fans wanted the Broncos to take Justin Fields. The Broncos did not have interest in him at 9. Not at all. Mm-hmm. Even if Surtain wasn't there, they were not going to take Justin Fields. There is a reason why teams did not try and trade up into the top 10 to get him. They had certain concerns about off-the-field stuff with Justin Fields. And who takes Justin Fields? You can make the case that Elway is terrible at evaluating quarterbacks.
Right.
Well, I can promise you one thing, the Bears are worse.
Yep.
And that's who they wanted. So you know what? With your track record with Trubisky and not taking Mahomes and not taking Deshaun Watson and trading up to take Mitchell Trubisky, we've already seen one bonehead move. I got a feeling they just made a second one.
I do too. Hey, I got to ask you, our guy Quinn out of UW Whitewater, man, 3rd-round draft choice. That's a compensatory pick from the Saints. I think you got a good one there as far as an offensive guard goes. Good run blocker.
That's what I have been told. I'll be honest. My cable package for those Whitewater games crapped out mid-season, and I didn't get a chance to watch them as much as I wanted to.
He's a good kid. I mean, if you saw any of his workouts, I mean, this is a guy that goes out and lifts wood in the woods, you know? I mean, he's a crazy guy. He's a mountain man.
Well, you know what? He'll fit in very well with Dalton Reisner, who is a similar type of personality. And the Broncos can use some help on their offensive line, although they are set at offensive line. From what I understand, this kid can play center. He can play guard. I think it's a good pickup. They took 3 guys out of the Big Ten. 2 kids out of Ohio State, a safety out of Indiana, and, you know, everything that I read, and I don't claim to be a talent evaluator, a lot of people thought the Broncos got some steals in picks where these guys were valued higher, and the Broncos wound up taking them in later rounds. So how good is this draft, Bill? I have no idea. I'll tell you in 3 years, I'll tell you in 2 years, but I want to see the history of George Payton. But I can tell you this, he seems to be a really bright guy, and everybody speaks highly of him.
Eric, great stuff. And if this whole thing comes to fruition, we will definitely touch base with you again as quite possibly, you guys end up with Aaron Rodgers out there in the Mile High City if it all goes well for you,
well,
and it goes terribly bad for us.
I'll tell you this. You can make the case that the greatest trio of quarterbacks to ever play for one franchise would be the Packers. You have Starr, Favre, and Rodgers. Well, I'll tell you what, if Rodgers comes here, I'll take Elway, Manning, and Rodgers all day over your 3.
Definitely.
Because the Broncos would be at the top of the list.
They would be. They'd have quite a few Super Bowls.
What's that?
They would have quite a few Super Bowls, you would assume. if it gets to that point. The whole thing with Bart Starr is such an anomaly because of the era in which he played, but the leadership that guy exuded is just phenomenal when you start to listen and talk to some of these Lombardi legends over the years. I mean, just what Bart Starr meant to that team, so huge.
Right. And listen, you know this. My father's a huge Packers fan. When I called him to tell him about this, he was like trashing Rodgers, right? Trashing him. Well, he's not a good guy. We don't need him. You know, fans get all upset at the guy that they love.
Right.
Now suddenly they want to kick him to the curb. But the truth is Aaron Rodgers is a no-cal guy who loves his wine and loves his cheese, and he's living in a country that loves beer and brats, and he's really not one of them. He's really not one of you. And he's kind of uppity. And from what I understand, he doesn't have the greatest reputation really with his teammates. They don't want to lose him, and I understand that. But if he's not going to change his mind, he's going somewhere, and you know everyone in Denver is going to welcome him with open arms, despite all of his personal things that maybe other people don't like. He's a great quarterback, and if you can't find a way, Bill, to deal with a quarterback like him because you don't like his personality, then maybe you're in the wrong business.
Yeah,
quarterbacks like that, you have to cut them a lot of slack, or else they demand trades like what is going on right now.
Yep, no doubt. Eric, good stuff, buddy, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
See you, Bill.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later. There you go. Eric Goodman from Mile High Sports. You can find him on Twitter at Eric Goodman, and good for him to come on with us just a little bit. So there you go. I mean, that's when I said that over the weekend and going back to even Thursday night, I had gotten wind that I know Mark Schlereth, who was on a long time with ESPN, and Mark's got his own show out there in Denver. Mark was talking about this, that he got wind of this, but they told me and said, can you talking, kind of comparing notes? And we talked to some of the same people. We're like, okay. So there's 3, 4, maybe 5 teams that might be really interested. San Francisco, obviously, out Las Vegas, obviously, Denver, obviously, in all of this. And then there's a couple more teams. And those teams kind of scatter depending on who you're talking to, the other names. But as he had mentioned, it's kind of back-channeled. It's not something that any team is going to admit to. It's one of those things where right now you've got some orchestration going on with Rodgers, or at least Rodgers' management behind the scenes. And now you wait and see, if he is that disgruntled that his people are the ones kind of, lurking around going, okay, let's do this, let's move this. Then you really get the sense that's where a lot of this starts to come from. Remember what I told you? I told you last week, the national people hate to get scooped. Okay, because they didn't see this coming. So they got to figure out a different narrative because they can't legitimize what it is Paul Allen stated or what I stated. They got to go in a different direction. They got to kind of direct your attention, kind of the tail wagging the dog, to something different. And it became Aaron Rodgers is really disgruntled. Okay, well, where there's smoke, there's fire. That's why other things began to pop up. But once the fuse was lit, it blew up, and everybody then needed to jump on this, and that's the reason it's gone in the direction it has. So I know it's not the best of news, and I know it's the saga as the world turns, or as the G turns, mind you, but it just continues on, and that's the reason why. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show is coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
To the program, the Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. I want to let you know that our good friends over there at New Mail Medical. Good people over there at New Mail Medical. And they've been helping people, guys, really, with ED for a long time, erectile dysfunction. And others have come along. They've said that they can help you out as well. But there's only one original. That's New Mail Medical Center. The medical experts at New Mail Medical Center, they're helping guys with ED. They've got a 98% success rate. That is 98% success rate. And when it comes to low energy, brain fog, if you're feeling sluggish, if you're feeling moody, if you're up and down, could be some low T, which they help me out with that. The low T side of things, more energy, better mental clarity, better mood, that type of thing. Oh, boy. Energy just is through the roof. And it continues on. I've been doing this for a while now. It's great. The weight loss, the all-in-one weight loss program is fantastic. And all you got to do is follow along. Yes, it works. Call my guys. Locations, Milwaukee and in Green Bay. Call them 414-455-4451. That's 414-455-4451. Again, that's a New Mail Medical Center, 414-455-4451. Steve writes, hey, contrary to what a lot of the experts say, he said, I actually like what the Packers did in the draft. They not only the draft what you can't coach speed, they also address specific needs. I like the Josh Myers pick, as I think he's going to be an anchor for a long time. I also like the Eric Stokes pick. He's got blazing speed. He reminds me of kind of the Sam Shields pick back there. A lot of speed to burn, but taller. They also drafted a true slot in Amari Rodgers. And also congratulations to our good buddy Quinn out of Whitewater being drafted to Denver, as we just mentioned, recruiting coup for Coach Bullis at UW Whitewater. So there you go. Good stuff, our buddy Steve. Steve, you the man. Appreciate it. 877-867-1670. Now, I wanted to address this. This was a really good post over on the Bud Light live stream. And B-Rad says, why on earth would they want to keep a disgruntled employee? Let him go and move on. But of course, at 1265 Lombardi, they will drag out the entire Packer Nation and drag us through it all. It's over, people. You are not talking about Jesus on earth. You're talking about a who plays football. Get what you can and move on. Since when is he bigger than football itself? He is not. Neither was Montana or Rice. Neither was Favre. No one, period. I agree with you. Nobody's bigger than the game, and nobody's bigger than the franchise. I agree with you. And I said that about Favre too. Nobody is bigger than the franchise. Okay? But Montana, when San Francisco let him go, they had a quarterback waiting in the wings. They had Steve Young sitting there. When they let Favre go, they had a quarterback waiting in the wings. That was Aaron Rodgers. Quarterback is a different animal because it is a singular position. You have 3, 4, 7 wide receivers on the roster, all of whom are going to play. Normally you carry 1, 2, possibly 3 quarterbacks on your roster, but there's only one man. You know what I mean? There's only one dude. And when you have a Hall of Famer on the roster, especially one that's playing well. Now, Montana was towards the end of his career. Favre had just come off of an NFC championship game in which he looked miserable. And Favre had been talking for a while now about the possibility of retiring. So you had to make the move. It was a different circumstance. Rodgers, on the other hand, all he did was have a couple of years statistically that were down. And going back to what he said on the Pat McAfee show where he said, hey, look, they talk about my stats and how I'm down. Quarterbacks would kill for those stats. And he's right. Well, his completion percentage took a dip. He had some new personnel around him. He had a new coach. He had a coach that was on the outs, which he partially had something to do with. But he had that all going away, and his numbers were down a little bit. Of which most quarterbacks, I mean, had that been Mitch Trubisky and Chicago would have been dancing in the streets for that level of play. You know what I mean? So he's right. And the organization did what they did. They didn't take a quarterback. They traded up to take a quarterback. And really, I know the old school way of thinking is, well, the employees don't run the institution. Well, no, but again, take any company where you're a singular employee, say you're a waste disposal driver. Okay. And you have the most significant route in sales in the entire company. And you drive the only truck that is the most mammoth, most massive. Okay. And you've got another guy that can do it on a fill-in basis, but he's nowhere near as good as you. And suddenly they bring in from another company this guy that can drive your truck, this guy that has a sales capability as you. It's just, I'm trying to give you some type of an analogy or comparison that you would understand. And they wouldn't tell you. They would just say, oh, by the way, here's a guy right here. And this guy can replace you, and he makes half the money you do. Tell me you're not going to feel a little bit threatened, and you're going to say to yourself, why in the hell wouldn't they let me know they're going to do this? I'm trying to put some type of an understanding to this, I've mentioned to it before in like the terms of banking. As a banker, you're the branch manager. You have the best branch in the entire company. And they come to you and they say, hey, when do you think you're going to finally step down? You say, oh man, I want to work for another 10 years. Okay, great. That's great. You're doing a great job. Thanks for growing deposits. Thanks for growing our money. Thanks for growing our lending. This is great. You're a $20 million, you're a small little branch, but you're a $20 million a year branch when everybody else is averaging 10. Man, that's fantastic. Oh, by the way, this guy's going to be your head teller. We hired this guy, but if you want to go ahead and start showing him everything that'd be great. What? Excuse me, what? When this is the guy that's going to replace you. And you're supposed to go show him everything, even though you're not ready to retire. But they wanted to know when you were thinking about getting out. So they're already bringing in a guy that can replace you. It's just, That's kind of what happened. So Rodgers is like, how dare you? I tell you I want to retire. I tell you I want to be here for life. This is the place I want to be. This is where I want to win more championships. And then you pick my replacement, and you don't even have the balls to tell me? I have to find out about it while watching the draft like everybody else? Like I'm just some common peasant? That's kind of it. That's kind of it, you know? So they had others waiting in the wings. That's the reason it was easy to get rid of Montana, and that was the reason it was easy to get rid of Jerry Rice. And Rice had already lost a step. But Rodgers just comes off of an MVP season. Tyler Dunn, who we've had on this program before, just wrote a really interesting piece on this whole situation in Green Bay. And he is going to, I tell you what, he's going to join us. I just got a word. He's going to join us after the top of the hour and give us his take on all of this. Remember, he's the one that wrote the Bleacher Report article on the exodus of Mike McCarthy. And that goes back to the quote of Mark Murphy saying, hey, Aaron, don't be the problem. He's the one that got that story. So he's going to join us coming up after the top of the hour. Stay tuned for that as well. Man, what an interesting show today. Holy mackerel. It continues to roll through the door. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
That's the Four Seasons WI.com. That's the Four Seasons WI.com. They've got everything: lodging, outdoor adventure, golf. The golf course is now open. Pontoon cruises, kayak, canoe rentals, fishing, direct access to the ATV trails, tennis, volleyball, horseshoe. I'm telling you, they got something for everybody. Lily's Ice Cream Parlor, Boundary Water Sports Bar and Grill, the Diamond Room if you want some fine dining. And be sure to ask your server or bartender about the Al Capone era, the amazing history up there. Huge, huge. So I'm telling you, head up there. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to be up there coming up in a couple of weeks. A week from this Friday, we'll be there doing the live broadcast. And if you want to come up and see us, ask for the Bill Michaels special. Ask for the Bill Michaels special. Get a hold of Barb, B-A-R-B, Barb at the4seasonswi.com. That is Barb at the Four Seasons, F-O-U-R, Barb at the4seasonswi.com. That is Barb at the4seasonswi.com. Get a hold of Barb and get booked up there for not only our weekend, but for golf and everything. A lot of good stuff coming up. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, do so. Do so. Look, by the way, the update on our poll question, and the poll question is simply this: who do you blame for the problems right now in Green Bay? And I put this up about an hour ago. 653 votes over on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at Bill_Michaels. Who do you blame for the Green Bay mess? Aaron Rodgers, Brian Gutekunst, Mark Murphy, or other? Aaron Rodgers, 34.6%. Brian Gutekunst, 29.6%. Mark Murphy, 17.8%. And other, meaning whomever on the outside or the media, 18.1%. Aaron Rodgers taking the brunt right now. Taking the brunt of all of this. 877-867-1670. Rory hits us up on Twitter and says, it all started after the NFC Championship game when Aaron Rodgers said, I'd like to be back, but my future is out of my hands. So I blame Rodgers. Scotty says, I think Aaron Rodgers is nothing more than a prima donna who wanted to be discussed meaning talked to, by management. Didn't get his way, so he's pouting like a little B word. But, he says, Brian Gutekunst wanted his legacy tied to a quarterback, much like his predecessor, Ted Thompson, did to Aaron Rodgers. Gutekunst jumped too early, made a mistake, and then didn't have the blanking balls to man up and own it. I blame Gutekunst for jumping the gun early. This is the Packers' mess. Marcus says, it doesn't matter. I am done with the Packers. They've now run off 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks for no good reason other than ego. I am done. Well, wait a minute. They didn't run off Brett Favre. Brett Favre kept hinting that he was going to retire. It's a different circumstance. And let's be honest, it panned out. They won a Super Bowl. Right? So they did win a Super Bowl. It wasn't like they ran them out and then it all went to hell. Now, who knows? Maybe it does now. Now, what Rob Reichel said earlier, that, hey, it's Jordan Love's time. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But I think there's way more to it than this. It's not just the drafting of Jordan Love. I think it goes back to when, he wanted Stephon Diggs. He wanted to see Stephon Diggs. He wanted to see Jake Kummerow. He wanted to see all of those guys remain, either trade for or remain with the team. You come out and talk about a guy and you say how much you like him, that he's got good pieces, he fits with what it is I'm trying to do, and then they get rid of him or they don't trade for him. Jake Kummerow, gone. Had a hint at Stephon Diggs. Didn't even try. 877-867-1670. Ike Diggity says, it doesn't matter when 3 picks turn into 6 points, the defense isn't the problem. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. There's more to it than that. You can't look at it as just black or white like that. You just can't. If you do, you're looking for an easy way out of the argument. 877-867-1670. Kinger says everybody's at fault one way or another. I agree. Well, I'm not at fault. But if you want to blame me, I'll take the power. Like I said, I didn't realize I was that powerful when people said it was my fault. Like, wow. This one's from Anthony. Anthony says, I blame Aaron Rodgers. Way too sensitive. Wants to take things to the extreme. Just needs to shut up and play some football. I get the shut up and play basketball, the shut up and play football. You're an athlete, but they're human beings too. Anthony does go on to say, I saw you over at the Social House yesterday. Food looked good. Food was great. And the Social House, awesome place. Dan Della and the staff over there, they're on Lisbon Road out in the Brookfield / Waukesha area. They call it Menominee Falls, but it's kind of right on the corner. But yeah, stopped out there. They do a breakfast where if you get a mixed drink, you get free pancakes. It's amazing. Didn't stop in for the breakfast though, but went in and had a Bloody Mary yesterday. That was it because when I'm riding, I really don't drink. So I did a light Bloody Mary, and we had some chips and some barbecue sauce and some of those mozzarella sticks that they have that are so good. Yeah, stopped over there. Stopped over the Social House. Great place. Great place. Always. They have music on Sundays, the Sunday Fun Day. So yeah, there you go. 877-867-1670. Coming up after the top of the hour, Tyler Dunn is going to be joining us. Really good stuff still coming right around the corner. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show continues on. Glad you are with us as always. Hey, coming up after the top of the hour, founder of Go Long is going to be joining us. Tyler Dunn. It's a newsletter dedicated to pro football journalism, and he has been good at it for quite some time. GoLongTD.com is the website. Just wrote an article on this whole mess going on in Green Bay. Tyler Dunn, formerly of the Bleacher Report, going to be joining us coming up just after the top of the hour. In case you're wondering, because this is going to be good stuff. We continue on with the saga as the G turns, I guess, as we continue on with this. Hey, IndyCar race. Speaking of things that are fun, look, outside of all of the drama, we got to do some stuff when it comes to the network. And our first big event, and I want to take you with us. So we got as many tickets as we could, and we can't tailgate at the ballpark. They won't let us, not in mass form. And we can't go to Lambeau. We can't go to Camp Randall. We can't do a lot of different things right now. So where are we going to go? One of the most beautiful sports settings on earth, and that is Elkhart Lakes, Road America. So the NTT IndyCar Series Rev Group Grand Prix is presented by AMR, and it takes to the legendary course June 17th through the 20th. I'm going to be there. We're going to do our show live, and then come race day, I want you there with me. And we're going to do this for each one of our affiliates. Go to thebillmichaels.com right now, and you can register to win. Okay, I'm going to take as many people as I can. I think we got like 60 tickets or something. I want to set you up with race tickets, camping, and tailgate. We're going to put a tailgate party together for you and 5 of your friends. We got all kinds of packages we're going to give away to all of our affiliates for this. We're gonna down some brats, some beverages from our friends over there at Quick Trip. We're going to catch all the IndyCar action, the race itself. Just going to have a blast. It's going to be awesome. The NTT IndyCar Series Rev Group Grand Prix presented by AMR. June 17th to the 20th. That's going to be at Road America. You can get all the event details and enter for your chance to win right now at thebillmichaels.com. That is the THE Bill Michaels, MICHAELS.com. And it's tickets. It includes campsites, tailgating with me. We got food. We got beverages. Quick Trip, Road America. They're putting it all together. We're bringing it all. I'm going to cook for you. I'm cooking for you. And sharing some beverages and stories. We're going to have a great time, but you can't do anything if you don't register to win. I want to take as many people as I can. So go right now to thebillmichaels.com. That is thebillmichaels.com. We're going to have a good time. Good time. That's coming up. Also coming up after the top of the hour, our good buddy Tyler Dunn is going to be joining us. Our buddy Dave Carney, listening to the program, says I can chaperone some people from Western Wisconsin. There actually people are registering on the WKTY site there, Dave. If I'm not mistaken, they may be registering on the WKTY site as well. I think each website on our affiliate stations are going to be linked to this also. Those that have those, because some of the smaller stations don't have the individual sites, but I think most do. Good stuff. Matthew says the baddest man in football in the NFL needs his voice heard like Tom Terrific, and quite frankly, he hasn't given the pieces, and he doesn't play defense. Screw legacy. It's about the ring and the Lombardi Trophy. Out. Thomas says, poor Aaron. It's not, you know what? It's Aaron really does hold all the cards. He can ride back into the fold right here, right now, and just say, hey, I'm coming back, and make everybody just feel better. You know, Aaron, this is what I wish would happen in a perfect world. I'll give you the 1-minute elevator speech. In a perfect world, the Packers go and tell Aaron Rodgers, we'll give you the contract extension. What do you want? Aaron says, look, I don't need to be the highest paid, but I want security. I want to know. I mean, I don't need this guy breathing over my shoulder. He can be on the squad. I don't care. But commit to me. You screwed the pooch, right? You didn't even come to me. You didn't even talk to me about this. You drafted my replacement. You made me look bad. you know? So I go out and I give you an MVP season, and you still really don't want to deal with me other than to come and kiss my ass and tell me how bad you want me back, but you don't want to put your money where your mouth is. So either you do or you don't. So my name is Aaron Rodgers. I want to be the Green Bay Packer quarterback until the day that I retire. I want to do everything I can to bring rings back to this organization. Not one, not two, but maybe three. Who knows? Fortify this team with as much talent as you possibly can get me. Promise me that we'll at least get into free agency for a couple of pieces that are really going to be able to help us. And let's do this thing. You know, I like Nathaniel Hackett. I really do. I think he's great. Tom, the guy that handles me up here in Green Bay for the PR staff, I love him. Matt LaFleur and I get along. Just tell Goody and his group, just stay the hell out of my face, right? I'm not real happy with him right now. Maybe I'll get over that, but just stay the hell out of my face. Let's move on, right? Let's do this. And here we go. Here we go. But beyond that, nah, baby, nah. Not happening right now. Coming up next, Tyler Dunn. We're going to talk with him. Tyler Dunn from golongtd.com just wrote a piece on this, and oh boy, we'll talk more about it. Is Aaron Rodgers really the problem? Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up after this.
For us, so I think he's a complete football player.
Meanwhile, a lot of focus remains on another Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers. He reportedly does not want to return to the Packers, upset with the pick of Jordan Love last year and other issues with Gutekunst in the front office. LaFleur remains optimistic they can get Rodgers to change his mind.
Well, I'll always remain hopeful and optimistic, and certainly we'll always welcome him back with open arms. He knows exactly how not only myself, but our staff and our players feel about him. And, you know, like I said before, I just can't imagine him not being in a Green Bay Packer uniform.
According to the NFL Network, Rodgers willing to miss the offseason program, hold out a training camp, potentially even walk away if the Packers don't satisfy his demands. Turning to the Badgers, they announced a home-and-home series with Utah today, game in Madison 2028, return game in 2033.
Hey, honey, how was your day? Well, I brought home a delicious dinner and possibly $10K. That's $10,000. That's a good day. It's Quick Trip's take-home meal sweepstakes. Try our chicken, bacon, mac and cheese, spicy chicken penny, spaghetti, and more. Buy with your rewards card, and you could win $10,000. No purchase necessary. See stores for details. Dinner, fresh from our kitchen to heat and eat in yours. But let's be honest, they had me at $10K. The take-home meal sweepstakes from Quick Trip. We got dinner covered.
Well, the Brewers are on the road starting tonight in Philadelphia. The hope is Christian Yelich and Lorenzo Cain can return in the series, and the Bucks going to be hosting the Nets tomorrow night. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heilprin.
Welcome back to the program. Glad you are with us. Hopefully you're enjoying your day. Bill Michaels Show continues on, and now we go to our good buddy Tyler Dunn joining us on the hotline, and from golongtd.com, joining us, and he's got a perspective on all of this. Tyler, I keep bringing up your Bleacher Report article from years ago, in which you said that Mark Murphy calls and says, hey, Aaron, don't be the problem. So I keep wondering, is Aaron Rodgers the problem? Give me your thoughts on what's spinning right now in Green Bay.
It's strange to say out loud that they should trade Aaron Rodgers, but I think they have to at this point. I think we've seen this playbook, from Aaron Rodgers for quite some time, back to that story, before that story. But basically, if you're out, you're out, right? Like if you're done, you're done. And I tend to believe Charles Robinson. He doesn't miss at Yahoo. And I know, of course, Aaron will backtrack and, he can say it's all noise, it's all smears, whatever the case may be. But that report said that he wants Brian Gutekunst gone. And it seems like every hour there's something new. He's upset that Jay Kumaro was let go the day after he praised him. So clearly he wants control. Clearly he's unhappy. Clearly he wants out. So if that's the case, I think that the Packers, you can't be calling that girl to the dance every hour on the hour, even though Aaron Rodgers is one of the best ever. I think he truly is dug in. And if you're the Packers, the time is now, or, post June 1st financially, so it makes sense to trade him while his value is so unbelievably high. He just won MVP and hey, start the Jordan Love era. I think it's weird to say it, but I think we're at that point.
It's interesting because I know that he had said to Mike Tirico at the Kentucky Derby that he was disappointed the news came out of this angst between him and the Packers, when I'm thinking to myself, no, I really kind of know where this was coming from. So there was more orchestra. I mean, granted, he's trying to save face in all of this, and I guess to a certain extent, rightfully so, but no. I mean, he knew exactly what was happening.
No, Bill, you don't understand. The Packers leaked that information that their star quarterback that just won the MVP wants out. Of course, I mean, it's just, does he think we're
right?
Of course, you're right. I mean, you want to try to save face. You want to somehow maintain plausible deniability, but it's so obvious. I mean, it was an avalanche of leaks, and he's so careful with how those leaks hit us in the public. Nothing is by accident. He wants out. Yeah. I mean, if he was happy, we wouldn't be hearing any of this, obviously. So, he wants that commitment. I think everybody knows by now. Beyond 2021, 2022, the Packers want to maintain flexibility. And look, Aaron Rodgers has all leverage. He has all control with the ball in his hand. If he keeps playing like he played in 2020, he'll leave the Packers no choice. He'll have to trade Jordan Love like the Patriots traded Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, he's got all the power here. I mean, if he keeps playing and balling out, I mean, he can play in Green Bay as long as he wants. But as one source familiar with the front office told me, like, it's almost like he's just done with Green Bay. Like, that's the overall sentiment. Like, he's just done with Green Bay. The time is now. He's had enough. And I would just be surprised if they're able to mend these fences. I think Green Bay is going to give him some time to cool off. Maybe take a few more trips to California. I don't know. But it sure seems like he's ready to get the heck out of there. And we all know the reason. Jordan Love, his existence on the roster. He would rather not just compete, send him off, and be the guy and force Green Bay's hand. He feels like he did enough last year. And I think the Packers, they don't have to do anything. I think that what they did was still genius. What they did in drafting Jordan Love and trying to bridge the present with the future, so you're not looking for a quarterback when you don't have one, was absolutely the way to go. Because if you cave, like if Mark Murphy just fires Brian Gutekunst, I mean, what kind of precedent does that set? I think that precedent is way worse than just trading a guy because he wants to be traded.
Yeah, see, that's just it. Had that not leaked out, that Aaron Rodgers wants Gutekunst fired, had that not leaked out, then there's still some wiggle room here. But now you cannot make that move because you're right, because then you're telling a player you have all the power. And I'll tell you this, Mark Murphy's in one hell of a pickle right here. And this is where a lot of Packers fans are like, look, front office, you made your bed. lie in it. Either go hat in hand and beg this guy to come back and give him whatever the hell he wants, or just cut bait and get it over with. And then you better hope, pray, and drop to your knees to the Lord above that Jordan Love is another Hall of Fame quarterback. Otherwise, this is your legacy. No matter what else you've done, what other good players you've brought in, this is your legacy. And if we go back to the 70s and 80s, oh my God, Lord help you.
You know, I see a pretty popular argument for Green Bay to do exactly what you said and just kind of give Aaron Rodgers whatever he wants, is that times have changed, right? Player empowerment. And, you know, they're the ones that really drive the revenue. They're the ones that drive the interest. And obviously Aaron Rodgers is unbelievably talented. But, I mean, let's not forget, this is a little different situation than every other quarterback faced this offseason, right? I mean, Matt Stafford, for a decade plus, was in a wasteland in Detroit. I think it was sacked like 380 times. Deshaun Watson, Carson Wentz, Russell Wilson, they were 1, 2, 3 sacked last year. I mean, a total mess in Philly. I mean, you're talking XFL talent around him by the end there. This is pretty good for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, right? He's got he's got talent around him. So the whole idea of not having a supporting cast is just a mess. I mean, he's got maybe the best line in football, one of the best running games, maybe the best receiver. All of that. He's got the freedom that he craved at the line of scrimmage. You know, I've talked to Marquez Valdes-Scantling about it. We had Jay Sternberger on our happy hour during the draft at Go Long, and they both detailed it perfectly on just how he has that ability pre-snap to change the play. You know, he can bring up plays from years past. I mean, Matt LaFleur's given them that freedom. You know, they found that synergy. It's worked beautifully. They go 13-3, 13-3. They're, you know, a couple missed throws away from a Super Bowl. I just think that life is really good in Green Bay. So, you know, you wonder why does he want out? I guess it comes back to Jordan Love, and I guess it comes back to just wanting to be out of Green Bay. And we'll see what happens. But I think that if the Packers know Aaron Rodgers better than any of us do, and they know he's somebody who, when he's dug in, he's not going to budge. I'd be shocked. I would be shocked if they were able to find some middle ground over the coming weeks.
That was what I was going to say is, and I thought it was I had Eric Goodman from Mile High Sports on, because the rumor is that Denver is very much lurking below the surface saying, hey, we'll take him over in the AFC. Let's make a deal. And what I got from Eric was, look, this guy won't reconcile with his family. What the hell makes you think he's going to reconcile with a guy inside a Packers organization just because you think he's got 20 or 30 million bucks? The guy's made 270 million. He doesn't need you. And there's no reason that he has to come back. You know what I mean? I agree with you. I said before, I said 70% of me says Aaron Rodgers will never suit up again for the Green Bay Packers.
Totally agree. I didn't go higher. I just, for all the reasons you just laid out, I think that, you know, other players, money could be a factor, right? You start finding a guy, and what's he scheduled to make $22.8 million this year? I don't think he bats an eye. I think he's okay losing money. He's got it.
Right?
We see him every other commercial. He's okay. This is principled. He wants power. He's very unhappy. And I think this Jeopardy play, maybe we're not talking about that enough, but his pursuit of Jeopardy to host that game show kind of became the ace up his sleeve, you know, because he can realistically use that as leverage to Green Bay and say, hey, you know, I got this possibility out here. I can host Jeopardy. I don't need this game. You know, he's an iconoclast. He doesn't need football. He can say that, and the Packers, you know, they have to take that seriously because they know what Aaron is like. So would you rather get something for him via trade, or would you rather get nothing and see him walk out the door? We might be at that point.
Talking with Tyler Dunn from golongtd.com. That's golongtd.com. You can read his stuff there, and at Tyler Dunn over there on Twitter. And again, I go back to the Bleacher Report article and how Aaron was at the end of the tenure of Mike McCarthy. Should we have gotten a real glimpse, a look, an insight? Should we have taken that more to heart when it comes to what was stated, what you wrote about as to how dug in he can be? Once he doesn't like you or loses respect for you, you're gone. You don't even exist to him really anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of what makes him one of the best quarterbacks ever, too. I know everybody loves to throw Jermichael Finley and Greg Jennings under the bus, including Aaron, you know, calling him irrelevant and all that. that is his number one receiver and number one tight end for much of his career. But, I thought in that story, one of the telling quotes was from Ryan Grant talking about the Alex Smith pick and how, almost immediately into that relationship with Mike McCarthy. So that was on his mind. He doesn't forget that. So he remembers every slight. He remembers what people say about him. He doesn't lose that. I mean, look at the Ian Rappaport's today and Jake Kummerow on how, he publicly praised him a day later. The Packers let him go. And if we believe that report, that made him pretty unhappy. That did a lot of damage to the relationship. So he doesn't forgive. He doesn't forget. It's part of what makes him great because, hey, you go out there, you play pissed off, and you can win an MVP. You can set all these records. We've seen it. I mean, when he plays mad, the Packers win. Apparently, he's so mad right now, he's not prepared to go out there and play, right? He doesn't want to compete with Jordan Love in the same quarterback room, which honestly kind of surprises me.
And that's the other thing. Now, do you think, from what I've heard two different things. I mean, we had Rob Reichel on earlier today, and Rob said that, who knows, maybe Jordan Love's the real deal, and that he hears that Jordan Love's pretty good. I keep hearing that Jordan Love is, quote, swimming when it comes to knowledge and the ability to decipher, and much like you're talking about, the ability to walk to the line of scrimmage and go, hey, I know exactly what it is they're doing, and I know exactly where it is I'm going with the football. So, if the Packers really believe that Jordan Love was all that in a bag of chips, do you think they'd be flying out begging Aaron Rodgers to come back?
It's a great point. Probably not. It's early into Jordan Love's NFL career. I mean, lest we forget Aaron Rodgers in 2005 against San Diego with the headset and the rain. And I mean, he had some miserable moments, his first preseason, his first training camp, even when he got into the game, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't until that year 3, against Dallas, and everybody saw that game and they almost won on Thursday Night Football. It's like, okay, life could be pretty good post Brett Favre. So you haven't had those moments with Jordan Love. I get it, but you drafted him for a reason. You saw something at Utah State that you loved. And also, I think a good point to remember, Bill, is, I think that there's this inclination to make it seem like Brian Gutekunst went rogue, right?
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur, he got to know Love really well himself. I talked to David Yost, one of Love's offensive coordinators, when he was his best season there. I mean, he talked to LaFleur at length on the phone. I mean, LaFleur definitely played a part in this recruitment. I think that they were all on board. You make a pick like that, everybody better be on board. And I think they see something in him long term. Is he ready right now to start? Might be a stretch. But to Rob Reichel's point, that's a good one. I mean, what if, Aaron kind of sees writing on the wall and see this guy's got some potential, and I'm going to get ahead of this story. I'm going to try to get out now. I ain't going to just wait around.
Right.
Who knows? While we're kind of operating on leaks, it's hard to know exactly where he stands. I'd imagine he'd speak at some point, but until then, we kind of all have to speculate, right?
Tyler, it's good stuff as always. What do they got? What do you got going on over there at Go Long TD?
Absolutely. We've got a pretty long story on this all right now at goooooo.com. So it's good time to subscribe, I think, with everything going on. 7 a month, 78 a year, and we've got all kinds of happy hours. We'll have some former Packer players on, current players on our happy hours there. So should be a lot of fun, and hey, we'll try to follow the story best we can.
Tyler, always a pleasure, buddy. Anytime you got something, give me a shout. Let me know. We'll get you right on, okay?
Hey, you got it, Bill. Thanks so much for having me.
Appreciate it, pal. There you go. Go to golongtd.com. That is golongtd.com. Tyler Dunn, great to talk to, and really, really good stuff and insight. He was the one that wrote the Bleacher Report article years ago, if you remember, when he had said that Mark Murphy called Aaron Rodgers and said, hey, we're making the move. This is what's happening. Don't be the problem. And then got him in touch with Matt LaFleur. And those two ended up, giving a pretty good resemblance of their relationship over the last couple of years. But you just wonder how much Aaron had to play in the demise of Mike McCarthy behind the scenes, or how much Mike McCarthy had to play in his own demise. But nevertheless, it was a really, really interesting time. And boy, that article that set the world on fire when it came to looking behind the fence. That is the world of 1265 Lombardi Avenue. I am not 100% sure, so I don't want to overpromise. But I just got a text here from our buddy Andrew Brandt, the former capologist and the guy that ran the numbers for the Green Bay Packers and now does so much. But he is the guy to ask when it comes to all of these numbers and caps and when you can and can't trade somebody and why after a certain date and all that kind of stuff. And I wanted his insight. And he just got back in touch with me and said here at 1:30 Central Time. So I'm hoping we get Andrew on. Just kind of put that in the back of your memory. And if it does happen, I'll let you know here in the next couple of minutes. But stay tuned. Still, though, a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. 3 more segments to go. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
I think the fact that Gutekunst at least openly admits, hey, I didn't handle the communication between A-Rod and I so well, so we could have done it better. I think all of that is understandable. Okay? I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to Mark Murphy going, it's him or me. I don't think that's happening because that sets your franchise into disarray. Okay? So I don't think that's happening either. What I think is there is Aaron feels that he has been wronged. And anybody that's ever felt that from Aaron, I know that he doesn't just welcome you back with open arms. And some of the greatest of the greats, they do that. Once they feel you have wronged them, you're out. They don't ever trust you again. They don't ever feel comfortable with you again. You'll never get that relationship back. Never. So that's the reason that I feel like if this has gone that... Now, here's the other thing to remember. What was said to Mike Tirico was Aaron Rodgers. Now, this is according to Mike Tirico, though, but basically that Aaron was sorry that this rift between him and the Packers got out. Again, you go by what is not being said. He didn't say, that's garbage, Mike. It's all hearsay. He didn't say that. So when you say we're starting rumors, he didn't say that. He didn't say it's not true. He said he's sorry it got out, thus confirming the headline, right? Because he could have put it all to bed right then and there at the Kentucky Derby and chose not to do so. That's why when people say you have to hear from Aaron, and I believe it's time to hear from Aaron, but he doesn't give a damn about what I believe. He'll do his thing his own way. But that's why I want to see Aaron come out and just answer questions. Answer not just Pat McAfee, but just answer legitimate questions. Just answer legitimate questions. Is this irreparable? Okay. Do you indeed just have had it? For whatever reason, you don't want to go back to Green Bay. Yes or no? And, behind the scenes, you don't have to give state secrets, but, was there something else that just set you off on this? Or was the Kumaro, the Lazard, the not listening to you in the offseason, waiting too long on Mike McCarthy? Was it that they hired a head coach after the fact and told you to like the guy? Was it the fact that maybe the words don't be the problem leaked out? That maybe it's just all this trust that you thought you had just isn't there, and that you're realizing it's a business and you don't run things? Is it just all of that it's just time for greener grass? Okay. Is that it? Or is there something else? Or did something else happen? Or maybe he just answers it and says, you know what? I just feel it's time for me to move on. Maybe it's the fact that he put up with Ted Thompson's crap in the last 3 years of his deal, where they were trying to fit square pegs in a round hole consistently rather than just getting better. They kept, and it's not always the offense. I mean, the defense had issues. This year, the team had the capability of winning, no doubt. No doubt. But prior to that, come on. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Andrew Brandt coming up after the bottom of the hour again. I know today's been a busy day and dominated with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, but you got to give a lot of kudos to the Brewers. Best record in baseball they're tied for right now with the San Francisco Giants at 17-11. They're a game ahead of St. Louis, who has now won 4 straight, as a matter of fact. Cincinnati is still hanging around, 3.5 games back at 13-14, a game under. But you got Pittsburgh at 4.5. And check it out. Don't look now. 5 games back in the standings, 12-16. The lowly Chicago Cubs, who lost yet again, and they are 3-7 in their last 10 games. The Chicago Cubs are. Cubs right now just trying to stay out of that basement, doing everything they can to get back at it and try to leap ahead of the Pittsburgh Pirates. But to the Brewers, tied for the best record in all of baseball. San Francisco Giants leading the West at 17-11. The team that the Brewers beat 3 out of 4, 17-12, the Dodgers. But the Dodgers have one more loss than the Brewers do, along with the Red Sox and the Oakland A's. Therefore, the Brewers tied with the Giants for the best record in baseball. You got to give them props, man. Got to give them props. Good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Want to hear from you. Let's do this. We'll step away. When we come back, you're going to want to hear it. Andrew Brandt is going to join us, former capologist for the Green Bay Packers. He wrote Aaron Rodgers' contract. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show is next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
How we looking? Bill Michaels here for the Four Seasons Island Resort in Pembine, Wisconsin. And I've got to tell you, when I want to get away for a long weekend, I head to the Four Seasons Island Resort. It's Northeast Wisconsin's best-kept secret, and the amenities include a 9-hole golf course, indoor saltwater swimming pool, sauna, whirlpool, tennis courts, basketball, horseshoe pits, volleyball, and when you're hungry, choose from the Boundary Water Sports Bar and Grill, Lily's Ice Cream Parlor, or fine dining in the Diamond Room. How about all of that? All Marinette County ATV and UTV trails are wide open this year. Guided waterfall tours as well. It's tucked into the North Woods of Wisconsin. The Four Seasons Island Resort is located on the Muscano Island and surrounded by the beautiful Menominee River, which divides Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. An island you can actually drive to. How about that? It's simply gorgeous there. Whether it's a romantic weekend for two, a golf weekend with the boys, or an adventure weekend for the entire family, Four Seasons Island Resort is a place to go. Book your getaway today at thefourseasonswi.com. That's thefourseasonsfourwi.com, and make sure you tell them Bill Michaels sent you.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
On the hotline, good friend, longtime friend, known him for a while, our buddy from Sports Illustrated, the Business Sports Podcast, Andrew Brandt, now joining us on the line. Andrew, how you been?
I've been good. I'm trying to squeeze in a lot of you guys today.
Yeah, I would imagine it's pretty busy.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got the same questions, and I don't, obviously I don't have the answers. I just think that, all I can say is obviously I've been here before where 15 years ago we had an incumbent superstar quarterback that was none too happy about coming into work every day, sitting with his replacement named Aaron Rodgers. And here we go, the circle of life. It's a delayed reaction. We don't know what went on in the past year or even before that. But something, what makes me scratch my head is something has bubbled up here, I think recently. And I understand the Love pick was a year ago. But I just think that maybe it's just a feeling like, what are we doing here? I'm the MVP of the league, and I'm kind of a placeholder quarterback. So I guess I'm ranting here. I don't buy the narrative Packers haven't done enough with the team, because that always implies you have to buy big, sexy free agents that usually don't help anyway. They built a really good team around Aaron Rodgers. So I just think it's something deeper than that, and I'm not exactly sure what it is.
My question is this, because there's a lot of talk about when they could possibly trade Aaron, and we know salary cap ramifications and things like that without knowing the intricacies of inside the contract. But, is it feasible to trade Aaron after June 1st, Andrew, and still gain money back in all of this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really pay much attention to that. I mean, they're going to take a massive cap hit if they trade him, whether now or later. Later wouldn't have it spread over 2 years, so then you're sort of burdening Jordan Love 2 years instead of 1. So if you're going to trade him, I don't really see a great advantage of doing it. I mean, you're going to take a $30-something million hit this year, or you're going to take 21 and then 17, and over 2 years. It's just a question of how you want to handle your pain. Obviously, this is the most obvious statement. The Packers never intended for a separation this year because he's so good and also because of the cap hit. And this was, to me, always a transfer at 222 or beyond. And Aaron's forcing their hand.
Yeah, I know. And it was interesting because one of our callers had said, well, you know, he said that he was sorry that this all got out to Mike Tirico at the Derby. But the one thing about it is he never denied it. I mean, you've been through this before behind the scenes. You know, it kind of, not that there's state secrets here, but kind of take us what you go through as an organization when suddenly something like this happens. And you got a guy, I mean, you went through the wavering of Brett Favre back and forth as to what they should or shouldn't do. What do you do? I mean, is this something where people are running up and down the halls and having meetings, or is this just where you go, well, we just got to let them cool off?
Well, I mean, again, as a front office person, you can never react like a fan. You can never react with even like media, because you'll have a heart attack. I mean, it's just up and down and roller coaster. So you react the only way you can, and sort of let's see what's going on here. Maybe the most surprising part of all this story to me is that, not that it's been going on a while, but there have been multiple trips to LA from the brass, and they don't seem to have done much. You know, so what we're seeing is Mark Murphy flies to LA to meet with Aaron. Matt LaFleur flies to LA to meet with Aaron. Brian Gutekunst flies to LA to meet with Aaron. Because the one thing you want is face-to-face. Hear it from them. What's the issue? Let's address it. Face-to-face, even in COVID, wow, that's an effort. It hasn't worked. You know, when we were with Brett and the coach or the GM, Ted Thompson, Ron Wolf, they just sort of fly down to Mississippi and come back and like, okay, we're all good. You know, he's coming back. He's engaged. That doesn't seem to be happening here. So there's something deeper that I don't think we know. I don't think it's about personnel. I don't think it's about the draft. I mean, draft nights are crazy, as everyone knows. You don't have time to like, before we take this pick, let's find Aaron somewhere out in LA somewhere. Where is he? Let's find his friends to locate. I mean, you're not going to do that.
Yeah. And you know that, I mean, organizationally, this would never leak out through the organization. This either came from somebody really close to Aaron or obviously an agent, usually, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, Adam Schefter's represented by some of these big talent agency firms that are representing Aaron. And yeah, I mean, it's clear how it got out. So the Packers, you know, if the Packers wanted this out, this would have been out long ago. So yeah, I don't think the Packers want it out, and the Packers are saying what they should say. We're not trading him. So, you know, everyone's asking me, how's this going to play out? Well, it's really going to be up to Aaron, it sounds like. I mean, is he going to show up or not show up? Is this going to smooth out or not smooth out? That's really the issue, because the Packers have pretty been firm about their stance.
Yeah, and Mark Murphy, going back to the end of January, beginning of February, when the question came up about Aaron Rodgers coming back, his quote was, "What do you think, we're idiots?" And right. I that sticks out so loudly to me because, like you said, something happened between then and now to get to where we're at today. I mean, I believe that too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know every situation's different, but we've been through this offseason with superstars, right? Deshaun Watson before his off-field issues, but a couple months before it. You know, I'm never playing here again. I'm out. And the Texans just said, no, you're not out. Russell Wilson wants out, names 3 teams. And the Seahawks say, you know, good luck. We're not trading you. And here we are. It just seems like here we go again with a superstar quarterback supposedly wanting out. I don't know when or if we'll hear from Aaron, but that's obviously what everyone wants to hear.
I was just going to ask you because I know Aaron had said the whole thing about a beautiful mystery and he doesn't control it and such. As a guy that's been out there and seen this firsthand, does the player control the narrative or does the team, just because they hold the rights, they control it regardless?
Well, I think the player can control a media narrative, but the player can't trade himself.
So therefore, Aaron, unless Aaron just decides to sit out and do nothing and lose the money along the way, he really doesn't technically have the control. But then again, the Packers wouldn't want him just sitting out and not getting anything for him, because don't you have to keep that money available should he decide to come back midway through the season?
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, if he retires, you put him on reserve retired, or if he's suspended, you put him on reserve suspended. If he doesn't report, reserve did not report. And salary's not counted for those players. But if he wants to come back and he tries to force a trade, you have to bring him back. But to come back for a trade, he's got to come back to your roster.
Right.
So it's a hard thing.
I don't envy either side in all of this, and I certainly don't envy the way your phone's probably blowing up. Andrew, I appreciate it all the time, man. Every time something weird comes up or I have some kind of cap number question, I always try to get in touch with you. Thanks so much for joining us on short notice, and I really appreciate it, okay?
You got it, Bill.
Thanks, pal. Talk to you soon. There you go, Andrew Brandt, and he is with the podcast at The Business on Sports. You can always see his stuff in Sports Illustrated. Great guy, the former, but like he said, he says what I've said. There is something has happened for this to just blow up. Now, whether or not it was this whole sparking of the conversation with the 49ers that just set it off. But I'm telling you, it's a bizarre situation. It just is. It's just a bizarre deal that it's gotten to this point. And like I said, for those that say, well, and even in the article where it talked about Mike Tirico talking off mic with Aaron Rodgers, not wanting to discuss the rift between him and the Packers, and kind of upset that it got out. Well, you know what? Not really. And also, when you're upset something got out, that means there's something real there. So this is a very real situation, and it's unfortunate. What should the Packers do? That's the next question. If you're the Packers, what do you do? 877-867-1670. We got one more segment left. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show is next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Final segment of the Bill Michaels Show. Before we get out of here, let's get to the phone calls real quick. Get a hold of our guy, Dustin, listening to us in Chippewa Falls. Dustin, how you doing, man? What's up?
Very good. Hey, this is a complex situation with Aaron Rodgers, and I think it goes all the way back to the Ted Thompson era.
I would agree.
Hard to say, but obviously the Packer organization gave Aaron Rodgers 2 mega contracts, right?
Uh-huh.
First one was Teddy Thompson, and he was the top 3 paid QB in the league. Second one, he was the top paid QB in the league at one point. What do? Thompson, he at one point decided that it was time to move on from Mike McCarthy and Ted Thompson. We moved on from that. We have new leadership. Obviously, Aaron's not happy with that also.
Does that go back, though, to the argument coming out of the Bleacher Report where the report was that Mark Murphy said to Aaron Rodgers, don't be the problem, and now we're looking at the problem?
Hard to say. I don't know.
Right.
But obviously, Aaron is a hell of a player, and he's our best chance to win, without a doubt in my mind. He was the best player in the league last year. He's a fantastic quarterback. But you can only do so much, right? We're in cap hell right now, and we're only going to be worse next year. Devontae Adams is a free agent. He's one of the best receivers in the league, if not the best. Can we afford to pay him? Hard to say.
Appreciate the phone call, and thanks for giving us a buzz, and thanks for holding on, Dustin. That's the million-dollar question. What do you do? If you're the Packers, I mean, legitimately, he gives you the best chance to win. You know that, and I know that. You don't just move because of spite. And Andrew Brandt just said that's the reason you can't think as a fan. That's the reason you can't panic. You can't think of this as media. You got to forge ahead and do what's right. So what's right? What's right? What is right for your organization? He gives you the best chance to win. This organization is not about rebuilding and just working itself back to the postseason. And again, I keep going back to the fact that you've got the guy, the Hall of Famer in your stable. He was the best player in the league. Nobody saw that coming. He was the best player in the league. You don't turn around and kick him to the curb, you know? But that's what some people want to do because out of spite, well, you're not bigger than the organization. Get the hell out of here. And you can't just send him off to Siberia somewhere, you know? You got to do what's right. Maybe you just wait it out. Maybe you just say, look, you take your time. If we got to come there again, we'll come there again. We'll do whatever it takes. We got to make this right. We got to make it right. Let's go to Dave listening to us in La Crosse. Dave, how you doing today, man? What's going on?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
Doing well. What you thinking?
Well, I got a couple thoughts here. Number one, and I haven't heard anybody bring this thing up, there was a report that said Aaron thought he was going to be traded Wednesday before the draft to San Francisco.
Right.
At what point do we look seriously about tampering? How did he know that we were going to San Francisco, that there was even an offer on the table?
Because I'm sure
We're not
his
supposed to talk to
management team. I'm sure his management team got a hold of it as well. I heard that the offer was not like the official offer. It was kind of like a what if style of offer, and then it was presented to him as well. Would you be on board if this indeed went through? And he said, "Yeah, let's do it."
And you think the Packers went to him and said, "What if?"
No, I think the 49ers or somebody within the 49ers organization leaked it to his people. No, the Packers shut it.
Well,
The Packers shot it down right away.
Yeah, well, and I agree. I mean, if you're going into a heavy-handed negotiation like this, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, prodigious talent, no question about it. But also, let's face it, a prima donna, and maybe that's why he's so good. How many times have we seen him go into a game and said, geez, he doesn't look like he's even having any fun out there, for God's sakes. And yet we've gotten to the championship game twice. So either he's incredibly good and he's elevating our team better than it is, or we've put a pretty darn good team around him too. I think you let this thing quiet down, you get away from the draft, you hope, and that's all you can do is hope. I mean, they've sent 3 plane loads apparently of people out there, so what else are you going to do? If he doesn't know he's wanted by now, nothing's going to change. And then you probably are going to have to take a look at those offers and say, well, we want something, because he could walk away. I think he's stubborn enough. Good Lord, he doesn't even talk to his family, for God's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't get me wrong. I don't want Aaron Rodgers to leave. But on the other hand, you can't have this thing going on in the locker room.
No, I completely agree. Completely agree. I don't think this you don't want this to leak into the other guys, that's for sure. Completely agree with that. On the other hand, if he's not coming back and he's hell bent on not coming back, short of you just hanging on to his rights just to hang on to him, you got to get something for him, right? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Coming up tomorrow on the program, there's going to be more of this. We're going to talk some more Brewers baseball. Obviously, a big game coming up tomorrow night. Giannis and company taking on, once again, Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. Got to look into that. You got the Brewers right now with tied for the best record in all of baseball at 17-11. In the meantime, the Bucks have clinched themselves a spot in the postseason. They're only 3 games behind Philadelphia for the top spot in the East, a half game behind the Brooklyn Nets. And Coach Budenholzer pulling out all the stops coaching-wise, which we didn't even really get into today. So we'll pick up where we left off and hopefully get to some different topics tomorrow. But great stuff today from everybody involved in the broadcast. And my thanks to Mr. Eric Goodman from Mile High Sports, Tyler Dunn joining us today, Rob Reichel joining us today, Andrew Brandt joining us today. What a day. Good stuff. Time for us to go. Have a